Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video. And today I'm going to announce the winner for the last giveaway, and we're going to start a new giveaway. Then after that, we got another episode of Story Time with Uncle Floss. All right, so let's get right into it. First things first, shout out to White Shoes, back in the building.
I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes. I love
White
my
shoes.
white shoes.
Calm down. Okay, now before I announce the winner for the last giveaway, let me say this. Y'all know the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I'm doing these giveaways just for my YouTube community, okay, for my hardcore subscribers. But if you win the prize, it's up to you to claim that prize. I can't chase you down to win the prize. Now, let me show you something real quick. Here's last month's giveaway, okay, or actually the last giveaway that I did. If you go to the comments, now that video is from 3 months ago. Y'all remember in the last giveaway, Dark Flossy? Remember when I picked the winner, Daryl Johnson? I pinned the comment immediately, okay? So you see this comment is pinned 3 months ago. Now go to the replies, all right, and look. I put you won. Somebody put GG's, all right, good games. And then somebody else commented, shoes. Shoes hitting my mouse. Somebody else commented, but Daryl Jones never commented. So look, I can't chase you down. I check this video every week to see if Daryl Jones replied, and he never did. So obviously, he doesn't want that prize. So going forward, okay, anybody who enters the giveaway, if you want to win, the onus is on you to check that video and see if you won. And if you did win, reply to the comment. I'm going to ask you for your email. Send me your email. Give me your shipping address. And I'm going to ship the product out immediately. Okay, I'm not going to make you wait 3-4 weeks. Ask that Canadian guy, okay, the winner of the giveaway before that. As soon as he sent me his address, I sent the product out the next day. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so Daryl Jones, you know, I appreciate you entering the giveaway, but it looks like you didn't really want to win. So that prize is going back up in the prize pool. Now, let me show you the new prize pool that we got right now. Matter of fact, let's pick the winner for the last giveaway, and then I'll show you the new prizes. All right, so here we go. I'm going to pick the winner for the last giveaway. Now, y'all remember that last giveaway was on the Dark Flossy video, and we're in YouTube Comment Picker. This is the paid version, so everybody's comment is going to be in there. So as you can see, we got 3,923 comments. Let's go ahead and load the comments. Okay, here we go. Now, we're doing this in real time. Y'all know there's no funny business with my giveaways. Everything is legit. Okay, now here's all of the people that comment. You see all of the different YouTube accounts. Let me see if I know anybody. Let's see. Okay, that was my man J-Rock. Okay. Let's see. All right. Now, it's a lot of comments, so it's going to take a few minutes to load. But again, we're going to do this in real time. All right, so we got one winner. Okay. Matter of fact, here's what I'll do with the substitutes. I'll talk about that later. So we got one winner. Okay. Winner animation. Okay, let's see. We're going to do a little countdown, 10 seconds. Change the color to red. Okay. Let's get and confirm. All right, so now here's all of the comments. Y'all see? 3,923. Let's get and hit start. And here we go. Now, good luck to everybody. Okay? I hope everybody wins, but we only got one winner. All right, so this is James Tavares. James Tavares, 3788. And you see he put free Uncle Floss. Okay? Now check this out. We're going to go to that comment in that video. Before I do that, and we're going to do just like last time. So the comment should come up right here. All right, James Tavares, 1 month ago. We're going to go ahead and pin that comment. We hit pin, like, heart. And I'm going to type in, I'm going to reply to that comment. You won. You won. You won. Okay. Send me an email. Just like that. Now, James Tavares, if you see this video, when you reply, I'll reply to my email. But y'all know my email is in my YouTube bio. Okay, so James Tavares. Let's go ahead and get that one more time. Y'all see? Congratulations. Now, we got a new giveaway. Let me show y'all the prizes that we're giving away. Now, James Tavares, it's up to you what you want to win. you remember, here's your choices. You got the Oculus Meta Quest 3S, okay, brand new, okay, sealed box. Your choice. You could pick this. You could pick the Status X Buds. Now, y'all see my review on these. These are fire. Shoes coming in hot. I seen you shoes. You also got the Techniques AZ100s in Champagne Gold, okay, LDAC, Dolby Atmos. You need these, James. You need these, okay. You also got a choice of his and her Redmi Notes, okay. We got the Redmi Note 15 Pro and Pro Plus, both of them. His and hers, one for you, give one to your girl. Now, for the last giveaway, since nobody claimed that prize, we still got the Opera Reno 13 and 13F. Again, his and hers. You win both of them. And we got one more new prize I'm adding. Matter of fact, I got two more. Why not? You can also get the Soundcore Sleep 830. Okay, now look, if you're having trouble sleeping, hey, this might be something you need. You might have all that other stuff already. But this is a choice right there. And we got another big boy prize. Check this out. You can pick the Redmi Pad Pro 2. That's going to come with the Redmi Pad Pro 2 keyboard and the Redmi Pad Pro 2 cover. And wait, there's more. The Redmi Smart Pen. Okay? Now, James, you could pick any one of these prizes except for the Redmi. Okay, this is for the new giveaway. You could pick any one of the other prizes I just showed. Probably going to go with the Oculus Quest. Why not? Now, for the next giveaway, when I do my next giveaway, I'll let y'all know whatever James picked, and then I'll show y'all all of the new prizes. So for this giveaway today, just all of these prizes that you see on the table, you can win any one of these, okay? We'll see what James picks, and y'all can just go and look at his comment, and I'll let y'all know what he picked. Now, the rules for the giveaway. Again, you can live anywhere you want, okay? I'm going to ship anywhere in the world. You can enter the giveaway as many times as you want, but that YouTube comment picker is only going to select one comment from one person. So if you put 100 entries under your YouTube account, you're only still going to be entered one time. So if you want to enter more than once, you need multiple troll accounts. Okay, now I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just telling y'all the rules. And again, James Tavares, same thing. I'm going to check that video every day. And then every other day. If I see you haven't responded in 7 days, then I'm going to start checking every other day. After 2 weeks, y'all got to remember, after 2 weeks, I can't be checking videos every day, stalking a winner. Like, I gotta shoot content. I got to go to work. I got things I got to do. So the onus is on you, James, okay? Now, good luck to everybody for the next giveaway. If you want to enter, all you got to do is leave a comment. Pick me. Leave a comment, pick me, I want to win, good luck to me, whatever you want. But if you just want to watch the video and you don't care about the giveaway, leave a comment and say, don't pick me. Don't take a prize from somebody, from one of these prizes that you don't care about and you don't want. All right, so that being said, now, all right, so the video's over. That's the end of the giveaway. Congratulations to James. Good luck to everybody else who wants to win one of these prizes. I got a few more prizes too. I'll probably pop them out in the next video too. And I'll try to get these videos out more frequently. I planned on doing these once a month, but the problem was last month, last month, my basement flooded. That was about 2 weeks ago. My basement flooded. I lost about $30,000-$40,000 worth of equipment and products and everything. It's a real nightmare. But I'm back here in the basement. I'm back with shoes. We back in business. Okay? So good luck. So the video's over. Good luck to everybody. Now, let's get into story time with Uncle Floss. Now, this is not going to be dark Flossy, but I am happen to be drinking some Hennessy. Oh, I forgot one more prize. Hold up. And you also got the the Vivo V60. Now, this week, I'm actually going to review the V70. Okay? I got the V60 sealed up. So put that into the prize pool. Okay? And again, I'll have some more stuff. I got, I'm trying not to just be sitting around with all these products in my house when I could be giving them away to my loyal subscribers. Now, like I was saying, let me give y'all my usual warning, okay? I'm drinking Hennessy. So when I drink Hennessy, I'm going to be cursing a lot, and I'm going to be dropping a lot of N-bombs. All right, the more that I drink, the more the N-bombs come out. And if you don't know what the N-bomb is, that's the word nigga. All right, now, look, I don't like talking like that, and I don't usually talk like that in my videos, but when I drink Hennessy and I'm chilling, I feel like I'm just chilling with my boys. I'm chilling with my team, and that's how I talk in real life. Okay, so I'm giving y'all a warning right now. If that kind of stuff offends you, if the cursing offends you, do not watch this video. I don't watch the video and leave a comment like, "Oh, your mouth is so dirty." I'm giving you a warning right now. This is your exit ramp. All right, take that ramp and get off at exit 3. Now, for everybody else, okay, let me give y'all a second to exit out the video if you don't want to watch the video. All right, anybody who's still here, we got the Hennessy VS, okay, very special, okay. Now, I just took the seal off, but let's do the smell test. Smells like central booking. Okay, now, this is why I stopped drinking Hennessy outside, because a lot of times I wind up in central booking. But I'm drinking it in the house where I'm nice and safe. Just me and Shoes. All right, now Shoes is just here chilling. Shout out to White Shoes. Oh, matter of fact, did we give Shoes an entrance? Yeah, we did. All right, I wasn't even sure if I gave Shoes a little entrance. She looking at me like, you forgot about my theme song, bro. Nah, I got you. Now, here's another warning. These stories, these are not little quick stories. These are long stories. And the idea behind these videos are, you play this video, the story time with Uncle Floss, when you're driving to work, okay, when you're walking on the treadmill, okay, you stuck in traffic, you're trying to kill time at work, you know, you just want something to listen to, maybe. Fellas, there's nothing zesty about that. There's a lot of channels that I watch to go to sleep, because I like their voice. There's nothing zesty about that at all. If you think my voice is soothing and you like my stories and you want to put them on and go to sleep, I try to make these stories about 45 minutes to an hour long. They give y'all something. And not to mention, when I tell stories, I like to be very descriptive, because I want you to feel like you're there. So here's another warning. When I talk about race, when I talk about white people, black people, if I say a white guy, black guy, Indian guy, Asian guy, I'm not trying to get racial on it. I just want y'all to, you know, since I can't show y'all the people, I want y'all to have a vivid image. Or at least you can imagine the person in your mind. All right. And that's one of the fun things about stories. Everybody imagines the person differently. Okay. Now, I do have some pictures I'm going to show y'all for this story, because these are real people. Now, one last warning. All of these stories I'll be telling are 100% true. Okay. I don't make up any stories. I don't try to embellish to make myself look good. I'll be taking wins. I'll be taking losses. You know what I'm saying? But these are stories that happen to me in real life. Now, a lot of people wanted me to talk about some EMT stories. All right, now, if you don't know what an EMT is, that's an emergency medical technician. That's what I did for a long time. All right, that was my job for a long time. Then I became a paramedic, and then I moved on. So a lot of people want to hear some EMT stories, and let me tell you something. I worked on an ambulance for almost 10 years. I've seen everything. I mean, you name it. I've seen people get shot in the face. I've seen people, you know, with their nose hanging off. I've delivered babies. Okay, I've seen people live and die in the palm of my hands. I've had fights on the ambulance. I've got people trying to rob me on the ambulance. There's a lot of stories. I got plenty of stories. I can tell y'all some crazy shit and some of the shit that I've sseen. But before I tell y'all the ambulance stories, I think it's only right that I give y'all an origin story. Okay, because going forward, when I tell these stories, I want y'all to know how it all started. So the name of this story today is the origin story. Okay, now all of my story time with Uncle Floss is, I'm gonna give a name. Okay, the name of this story is called The Origin. All right, cheers, y'all. Now I'm taking it slow because I just got my hair did. Shout out to Cassie. She just did my hair real nice. And she had a little, they have a little bar section in the beauty salon. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? I had to partake in a few shots there. So I'm already feeling a little bit nice. So we're going to take it slow. And I'm having a Mortal Kombat tournament later tonight with my girl. So I'm gonna try not to get too wasted too fast. So how did it start? It all started when I was, I want to say, 17 years old. Okay, let me start this. Now I'm not gonna. I got another origin story, but we're gonna start. This is an EMT story. So I ended up dropping out of high school in the 10th grade. Okay, because I ended up getting arrested. I caught a case. I had to go to trial and all of that. So my parents thought it was just in my best interest to not even go back to high school. And I dropped out of high school in the 10th grade, and it worked out in my favor, because I ended up taking my GED when I was 17. So I got my GED when I was 17. By the time all of my dudes, everybody that I hung out with, everybody was in the 12th grade, I was a freshman in college. Okay, and by the time I took off those 2 years of not doing nothing, not going to school and all that shit, those 2 years, I needed that break because I decided to change my life around. I was going down the wrong path. I was going to end up in prison. So those 2 years of not being around high school students and not being on the train every day and all that, that really saved my life. So shout out to my parents. You know, I was a little bit, I resented them for a while for not letting me get the high school experience. You know, no, I didn't get to go to the prom. I didn't get to, you know, have senior day, and I didn't get to be a big man on campus and all of that. You know, but by the time I was a freshman in college, I forgot all about that. And they saved me from going down the wrong path. So anyway, so when I was in college, my goal was I wanted to be a doctor, okay? And I've always had a fascination with the medical field and needles and the medical equipment and saving people's lives. And I wanted a job that had some prestige to it. Like, I didn't want to just be lifting boxes all day or digging holes with a shovel and laying bricks. Nothing wrong with that. But I wanted a job that had some kind of prestige, some kind of clout. I remember every time I went to the doctor's office and I seen the doctors and the way everybody treated them, I wanted to be a doctor. And I thought I was smart enough to do it. And a lot of people told me I was smart enough to do it. A lot of my teachers and, you know, my professors, everybody said, look, you need to really think about this. So I wanted to be a doctor. But then I realized that in order to be a doctor, it's a lot of school. You got to do 4 years college, 4 years medical school, then a residency, and all of this stuff. I was like, halfway through college, I started getting burnt out with school because I was doing too much. I was going to school and I was in the street at the same time. So I started getting burnt out with school. I just wanted to hurry up and graduate and get the show on the road. So I still wanted to be in the medical field. So I started taking a whole bunch of vocational medical courses. So when I graduated, I had a whole bunch of licenses and certificates. Medical assistant, phlebotomy. Okay, I was a phlebotomy tech, EKG tech, X-ray tech. Okay, by the time I graduated, I had a full portfolio of medical certificates and accolades, as they say. So I graduated in May. I turned 21 in June. So when I graduated in May, when I turned 21 in June, I got a job, okay? And I got a dope job working for this company called EMSI. Let me say that correctly. The Hennessy just kicked in. EMSI, Examination Management Services Incorporated. And they hired me as a contractor. And basically what my job is, say you want to get a life insurance policy, you can't just be like, oh, you know what? I'm 50 years old right now. I want to get life insurance. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to get a medical exam and you're going to have to get, checked out first. And then they determine, your medical history and your factors is going to determine what your policy is and what your premium is. So my job, the job title was called Porter Medic. Basically a portable medic. So what I would do is say John Doe wants to get a life insurance policy. I would call John Doe up and ask him, do you want me to come to your house or your job? And I would come to their house or their job. I'll take their blood, take their urine, take their height, weight, vital signs, body fat, past medical history, medications that they on. I would give them the full medical once over, right? And then I'll package all that stuff up, take it back to the job, and they ship it out. So I was a contractor. So I was getting paid. Now, keep in mind, this is over 20 years ago. So whenever I talk about money from back in the days, you could double that. So if I say something was $50 25 years ago, that's like $100 now. So back then, I was getting $50 per person. Now, I was working as a contractor, so I wasn't getting no salary. So if I didn't do any jobs on Monday, I didn't make any money on Monday. But Monday, if I did 6 jobs, then I just made a cool $300. And again, $300 25 years ago, that's like $600 now. So the job was dope. And not to mention, I'm a contractor, so I don't got no boss. I'm working using my own car. Okay, they reimburse me for the gas and tolls and all that, but I don't got no boss. I get to use my own car. I could wear any kind of clothes that I want. And me personally, one thing that y'all got to know about me is I have a serious problem with authority. Okay, it's hard for me to work in an office where the manager's there, the boss is there, people over your shoulder, micromanaging. I don't like nobody telling me what to do. I don't like nobody telling me when I can and can't take off of work, when I can and can't go home early. I don't like that. But I've done it for years, but I don't like that. I have a problem with authority. I knew since a young age I gotta have my own business at some point. That's why I was like, I'm gonna become a doctor, have my own practice. Okay, that was my goal. But anyway, so look at shoes right here, chilling. At least you got shoes. Y'all got something to look at. So I was getting paid $50 per person. I'm 21 years old. Now, keep in mind, I don't got no kids. All I got is a car that was fully paid for because it was a hoopty. I had to pay my car insurance. I had to pay my rent, which wasn't that much. And I had to pay my phone bill. Okay, and of course, most importantly, I had to buy clothes and go out. You got to remember, when I was 21, 22, 23, 24, I was heavy in the streets. I was going out partying every night. Every night, bro. That was my lifestyle. So I had to support that. So working at EMSI, it was a dope job, and I felt like I used to wear medical scrubs to work. I liked the job, but the money fluctuated so much that some weeks I'll be good. I can pay my rent, pay everything, and have a lot of money left over. And then some weeks I have say on Monday I only have one person. That person might cancel and say, I was supposed to come to his house. Oh, I got my family. Can you come tomorrow? Or can you come next week instead? So some days I will have 3 or 4 people lined up and all 4 of them would cancel. All 4 of them would reschedule. So the job, it wasn't stable enough for me. So I started saying, you know what? This Porter Medic stuff ain't gonna work. So I started applying at mad hospitals. Okay, I was gonna work as an EKG tech, maybe a phlebotomist, mad doctor's offices, clinics, urgent cares. I applied at the whole spectrum of medical places. And then I realized that a lot of these places, they don't want men, they want women. And that was back in the days. They don't want the male guy, they want the women. A lot of the people, a lot of the girls that I knew that I went to school with, they was all getting dope jobs. I couldn't get them. So I started getting frustrated, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this medical shit ain't for me. I got to do something else. So I applied for the police department, for the fire department, for the gas company. I applied for sanitation. I applied for corrections. Now, quick side note, I was this close to becoming a correction officer. I took the medical. I passed the test. I took the medical, the physical, and the psychological. I had everything lined up, got fitted for my uniform and everything. I was just waiting for them to call me for the academy. The only thing that stopped me was September 11th, 2001, all right, 9/11. When those planes hit the World Trade Center, New York City put a freeze on all hiring. So they put a freeze on hiring, and by the time that freeze lifted, maybe 6 months later, or maybe 5-6 months later, by the time they started, they starting to consider people again, I had already moved on to something else. I already had a different vision of life. But anyway, so I applied for all of these jobs. So now, I told this story before, but just bear with me, y'all. So it got to be like around maybe around April. It's in the spring. Nice spring day, like 70 degrees outside, beautiful day. Now, back then, back up a little. Back then, I used to smoke a lot of weed. Okay, now, one of the things about me is, in order for me to be in school and doing all this reading and, doing all these projects, I gotta smoke blunts, bro. I'm sorry, that's just me. I gotta smoke blunts if I'm gonna be doing any type of reading and writing and all that. I smoke a blunt and I'm in the mood to do that, and that makes me, that the blunt would activate my juices. Now, you can, pause. Now, you gotta remember, this is not the weed from today. Remember back in the days, you bought a little nickel bag of weed that had all the little seeds and sticks in it, and you smoked that shit. You got a little bit high. You didn't get wasted. You got a little bit high. You caught a buzz, and then about 45 minutes later, you ate some White Castle, and then now, boom, you back to normal. Not like this weed of today that you buy from the dispensaries and all this, they got all the hydroponic weed and all of this chemically imbalanced weed that you smoke one blunt and you down for 5 hours. Nah. It was a regular bullshit weed. I used to smoke a lot of it though. So one morning, I looked at my schedule. I had a client. I only had one client, and that client was for 5 p.m. Now it's around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So I said, damn, I ain't got shit to do until 5. You know what? I want to just smoke a blunt and chill. I used to buy a bunch of DJ Clue CDs from Jamaica Avenue, and what I would do is I'll roll a blunt, I sit in my car, put in a DJ Clue CD, and listen to it from start to finish. You got to remember, this is before Spotify and Apple Music. Like, you bought that CD, you paid money for it, you listening to every song. You're not skipping them shits. You listening to every song. So I said, you know what? I could have smoked a blunt in my house, but it was one of those days. It was just so nice outside right after the winter and all of the snowstorms. Let me go sit in the car. Now, at the time, I had a red Subaru GL. That was the kind of car I had, but I had a dope system in it. So I went outside. I put my uniform on. I had on white medical pants, the green scrub shirt, and a stethoscope around my neck. And the reason I wore the stethoscope around my neck is, y'all got to remember, back then in New York City, weed was super illegal. It's still semi-illegal now, but back in the days, if you got caught smoking a blunt in your car, guess where you going? You going to jail. All right? You're not getting a ticket. All right, they're not gonna say, "Oh, throw that in the ground." How much? Let me see how much you got more than a pound. They not. You got one blunt, you going to jail. But one thing I learned is a lot of times with the cops, especially in my neighborhood, they didn't really mess with you if you seem like an upstanding citizen. All right, if you had on a uniform and the cops pull you over, they not gonna go as hard as if you got a hoodie on and some fatigue pants and Timberlands. They searching your shit. Remember stop and frisk? Oh, they stop and frisking you. They searching your car. They looking for drugs. They looking for anything. They gonna find something. But if you work for the post office and you get pulled over, they like, all right, he's a regular working man. Like, don't worry about it. But if you work in the medical field, you getting a break. I learned that quickly. Right? And y'all know me. I'm one of them dudes. I get pulled over a lot, and I've always gotten pulled over a lot. So I learned like a few times I got pulled over with my medical equipment on. As soon as they pull up next to me and they pull me over, they walk up to the window. Oh, okay, you work in a hospital? Yeah, I work. I'm affiliated with the hospital. I don't work for the hospital, but I'm affiliated with the hospital. All right, don't worry about it. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. And they cut me a break. So I said, okay. I put on my full medical garb. Okay, I had the stethoscope around my neck. I had my work ID clipped onto my shirt, and I sat in the car. I rolled a blunt, put in the DJ Clue CD, and I'm just vibing. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I got to get a new career. I got to get a new job. And a lot of times in life, things happen for a reason. Now, sometimes shit just happens. But a lot of times things happen for a reason, and you look back on it and you're like, damn, if this didn't happen, that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. If I would have smoked a blunt in the house, who knows where I would be right now. But I decided to smoke a blunt in the car. So while I'm smoking a blunt in the car, I got super limo tint on my windows. So the windows are rolled up, limo tint. I'm hotboxing my car. Now, if you don't know what a hotbox is, that's when you smoke a blunt in the car with the windows up. So none of the smoke goes out. We call that hotboxing. So I'm hotboxing the car. Right across the street from my house, maybe like across the street and a few houses down, somebody called an ambulance. And the ambulance pulled up. Now, I need a prop for this one. I give y'all a prop. So the ambulance pulls up in front of the house, and the drivers get out. One guy gets out this side, one guy gets out this side. It was a black guy and a white guy. Now, they both look like they was about maybe 30 years old. Now, keep in mind, I'm 21 or 22. I'm 21, 22. So they look young like me, but a little older than me, but not like a 40, 50-year-old man to a 20-year-old. They look like these are people that I could probably hang out with. You know what I'm saying? They look like my older brothers. When they jumped out of that ambulance, they had on and both of them, and look, man, this is no Diddy shit, but both of them was in good shape. Okay, now at the time, I was in great shape too. I'll show y'all some pictures in a minute. I was in great shape too. I was working out and all that. So, they jumped out, but the uniforms look like, you ever see when you see like a military soldier, like when they have on the real military, the uniforms with the white hats, and they just look badass. Or you see like the SWAT team, and you see a bunch of SWAT team members, and you just look at them like, yo, they look badass. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, no funny shit, but they look badass. Like, you know what I'm saying? No zest monster shit, but you just be like, yo, they look dope. They're like, I like that look. When they jumped out of that ambulance, both of them was looking, their uniforms was crispy, they had all the equipment around their belt, and then boom, it clicked right in my mind. I was like, all of this medical shit that I be doing, I never once thought about working on an ambulance. Then I started putting two and two together. I'm like, wait a minute. That's a perfect job for me because it's just you and your partner, so you don't got no manager micromanaging you over your shoulder. I like to drive. Fast and reckless. You driving an ambulance with lights and sirens. This is a job that looks, and the way they looked when they hopped out, they look like they got some authority. They look like they got some prestige. Like they didn't look like some bums. Like, and from your personal experience, when you see an ambulance coming behind you, you move out the way. Like, oh shit, here come an ambulance. You move out the way. You see the cops coming behind you, the first thing you say, oh, fucking bitch ass cops. Oh, here they go. No, but when you see the fire department coming behind you, you like, oh shit, the firemen, that's prestige. Like, oh shit, the firemen, like, yo, they getting ready to save somebody. Move out the way, hurry up. You see a fireman and they need some help, you like, yo, bro, you need help? Like, you gonna help. You know what I'm saying? You see the cops that need, you know what I'm saying, lifting up some boxes, you ain't gonna be like, yo, y'all need help? Nah, fuck out of here. But if I see the fire department doing some shit, I'm gonna be like, yo, y'all good? Y'all need help? You know what I'm saying? Same thing with EMS. But I never thought about that. EMS stands for Emergency Medical Services. And for y'all, I'll just be saying shit. EMT, EMS. EMS is the service. EMT is the person. So I started thinking immediately like, oh shit, that's a dope job. And I looked at those two dudes and they look kind of young. And I always have this mentality, like when I look at people doing things, I always say, if they could do it, I could do it. I don't give a fuck what it is. If that person can do it, oh, I can do it too. All right? I'm not talking about brain surgery and rocket science. Like, no, like everybody can't do that. But if I see somebody laying some bricks, I'll be like, yo, if that person can lay the bricks, I can do it. I see somebody on the SWAT team, oh, if that person can do it, I can do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had that attitude. So I'm looking like, oh, that job looks dope. And you be outside all day, going to different places, meeting different people, you know, and at the same time, you in the medical field, you still helping people, you still look like a hero. Because low key, I wanted to be a hero. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is dope. Now, keep in mind, back in the days, everybody had phones, but you didn't use your phone the way you use it now. Back in the days, everybody walked around with a pen and paper. You at least a pen. Because, you know, you meet a girl in the street, yo, can I get your number? You got to have a pen on deck. If you know, you know. If you was outside like that, you know. So I stayed with a pen on me at all times, and I always had a little pad or some business cards. I used to have, we used to buy the blank business cards because I used to, be outside like that. So I immediately, I'm sitting in my car. So I went in my visor, I pulled out a pen, I looked at the side of the ambulance. The ambulance was from Mary Immaculate Hospital in Queens. All right, now, if you live in Queens, a lot of y'all, these stories are going to resonate because if you live in Queens, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Y'all remember Mary Immaculate Hospital. So that's what it said on the side of the ambulance. So I said, yo, I wrote that name down. I said, yo, tomorrow morning, I'm going up to Mary Immaculate Hospital. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to be like, yo, how do you get a job working on an ambulance? What do you need? What's the qualifications? I'm going to start doing some research. Like, from that moment on, that clicked, I knew that was going to be my job. Now, they both, back to the story. So the white guy and the black guy, they jumped out and they went inside the house. Now I'm sitting in my car, I'm smoking a blunt, I'm just looking at the truck and wheels are turning, everything going through my mind. Like, I'm getting happy, like, oh, should I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just hit me. The black guy came back out. Now, here's the thing. When you call an ambulance, they don't immediately take the stretcher and run into your house. A lot of times, they'll go in your house, assess the situation first, see if there's stairs, maybe, because sometimes the stretcher won't fit. So, or maybe sometimes you go in somebody's house, they called an ambulance, but they just fell down, they got a sprained ankle. And then when you go inside and they see that, oh, you know what? I changed my mind, I don't even want to go to the hospital. So a lot of times, I know this now, but I didn't know this then. So I seen them go in the house, and then maybe about 10 minutes later, the black guy came back out by himself. And he opened the back of the truck up, and he pulled out that orange chair. Y'all know the chair that they use? Like, it's an orange chair. It's called a stair chair. They pulled out the orange chair. He pulled out the orange chair, and he pulled out a cigarette and he lit it. So whatever they went to that house for, it wasn't an emergency. Like, it could have been like, because you believe it or not, people call the ambulance for the dumbest shit. Like, somebody will fall down, twist their ankle, and call an ambulance. And then when you get to their house, you'd be like, bro, you got a twisted ankle. You want some ice? Hey, go some ice now. You sure you want to go to the hospital for it? You know how much that's gonna cost, right? You sure you want to go to the hospital for an ice pack? You sure? And a lot of people are like, I changed my mind. Or people call an ambulance, and then when they see you come and they see all that equipment, all that, they get nervous. Like, you know what? I changed my mind. Believe it or not, that happens. It happened to me a lot. So he was outside smoking a cigarette by himself. So I said, wow, I should just run up on him and be like, yo, how you got that job? Now, I'm the type of person, I hate doing that. I hate doing that because a lot of times people be gatekeeping. Like, you see somebody with some dope sneakers on, you walk up and be like, yo, bro, oh, them sneakers is fire. Where you got them from? They'd be like, oh, I got these from Azerbaijan. I got these from Uruguay. You know what I'm saying? I got these. Oh, my brother live in Pakistan. And he sent me these. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just be gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? I know a few gatekeepers. They just don't want you to have the shit either. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest fear of talking to people, because I hate rejection. I'd rather just not ask. But something told me, you know what? Just ask, yo. Like, that's how serious I was about this shit. I said, fuck it, I'm going to just ask, yo. That might save me a trip of having to go to the hospital. So I hopped out, and I walked up casually. I said, excuse me. I said, look, I know you busy. I said, can I ask you a question? And you know what he said? And this guy ended up becoming low-key like my mentor and low-key like one of my good friends over the years. The way he greeted me, he said, what's up, young brother? Now, all of my black folks out there, y'all know, you got two kind of black guys. You know, you got those kind of black guys that, you know, just be acting like, you know, gangsters and thugs and animals. And then you got those kind of black guys that, you know, the pro-black, you know, with the pro-black, yo, young brother, what's up, young brother? You know, like the pro-black kind of guys. He was one of those guys, luckily for me. He said, what up, young brother? As soon as he said that, I was like, bingo. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, I'm working in the medical field right now, but I never thought about working, you know, on an ambulance. I was like, is that a hard job to get? Like, you know, what you got to do? And he was like, listen, bro. It's like he was waiting for this moment all day. Like he waiting for a moment to save somebody. He said, let me tell you something, young brother. He said, what do you do right now? I said, well, you know, he's like, you know, he said, I see you got the medical scrubs on. What do you do? I said, well, you know, I'm a phlebotomist, EKG tech, medical assistant. I do this, I do that. He was like, stop right there. He was like, first of all, you overqualified. he said, you overqualified. He said, what you need to do is you got to go to EMT school. He said, now look, he said, one of my jobs, he said, I work on this ambulance, but one of my side jobs is every 6 months they start a new EMT course. I'm one of the instructors. Okay, I'm one of the instructors at the EMT course. He said, what you need to do is take down this number. He gave me the number for CMC, Catholic Medical Center. He said, take down this number, call them tomorrow, and tell them you want to register in the next EMT class. He said, the class is going to be, I think at the time it was 7 months or 8 months, maybe it's 6 months. He was like, the class is going to be 6 months, but you got to go, I think it was like 3 or 4 days a week. He was like, you know, he's like, we got two classes. He was like, one is like a year and you go like 2 days a week. But he was like, if you want to get it out the way quick, he was like, they got another one that's 3 or 4 days a week. I thought this is so long ago, I forgot. But he was like, this is the express course. You pay this money. You come there, I think it's 3 nights a week or 3 days a week, 5 hours. And he was like, you're going to take this course for, and then once you finish, you're going to be a certified emergency medical technician. And he said, let me tell you something. He said, the way this works is the city right now, they need EMTs like you need air. They need EMTs like fish need water. He's like, he said, I can promise you this. When you graduate, you know, you pass the state test and you pass your physical, you know, you got to do the practicals and all that. When you pass and you get your certificate on Monday, you'll be working on Friday. Maybe not for the city, but he said, you know, there's a lot of private ambulance companies all over the city. He said, but I can tell you this. When you graduate on Monday, when you get your certificate on Monday, you're going to have a job on Friday. I was sold. I was like, say less. And he said, look. He said, look, man, seriously. He said, he's like, do you look like somebody could do this shit? You know, like, especially like with your body and all that, like, oh, they're going to hire you immediately because part of the job is lifting people up. Okay, like that's part of the job. He said, I want to see you in that class. He said, the class starts in September. I want to see you in that class. I was like, yo, we dapped each other up. I was like, yo, what's your name? He was like, Stan. Now, Stan is a light-skinned black guy with green eyes, you know what I'm saying? Pretty boy type dude, wavy hair, you know what I'm saying? So I dapped him up. I said, trust me, bro, you're going to see me in that class. I shook his hand. I went in the car. So now while I'm smoking the blunt, I'm super excited. Super duper excited. The next day, next morning, I called CMC. I got the pricing and all that, so I put money to the side. I registered. I went up there, registered for the course. When I got to the course, all right, for the first couple of days, I didn't see the dude. For the first couple of days of class until we start doing practicals, like when you start doing like hands-on stuff, because part of the course is anatomy and physiology, chemistry, biology, you know, like the classroom part. But then we started getting to the hands-on part, how to do a traction split, how to bandage somebody, how to do CPR. When we got to that segment of the course, guess who walks in the door? Stan, yo. And when he seen me, yo, his eyes lit up, my eyes lit up, and he was like, yo, you were serious. I was like, bro, I told you. Yo, we dapped it and gave him a hug. I'm like, yo, bro. He was like, let me tell you something. He's like, when you finish, He said, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of places. He was like, when you graduate and all of that and you get your certificate, hit me up. I'm gonna get you in here at CMC if you want to work for the city. But he was like, I know a bunch of private ambulance companies. I know, he had been working for 5-6 years already in the field, so he knew what time it was. He had been working there since he got straight out of college. So he knew what time it was. He was like, I got you, yo. So anyway. So I went through the class. To me, it was easy. Like all of the, you got to learn how many bones in the body and all. To me, that shit was easy because I had just did that. I did that. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I sailed through the class. And shout out to my man Webster. This is one of my dudes. Me and him, we joined the class together because I was hanging out with him at the time. And I talked him into taking the class with me. He thought it was too hard. Like he couldn't grasp all of the A&P. A&P is anatomy and physiology. He couldn't grasp a lot of the shit, and like a lot of shit that just didn't stick with him. Like everything ain't for everybody. He dropped out. So I did it by myself. So my man Stan wasn't lying. I got my certificate in the mail on Monday. And the first thing I did was I went to Hunter Ambulance in Far Rockaway because that's what a lot of people was like, yo, they hire, a lot of people was like, yo, if you need a quick job, go to Hunter. They hire anybody, no experience. Of course, I applied for the city and all that, but that takes time. But I went to Hunter Ambulance on Monday. I got hired on Monday. They said come in on Wednesday. So that guy told me I will be working by Friday. I got hired on Monday. I was in the job on Wednesday getting a shirt, getting my uniform, doing my fucking ride-along shit. Right? Okay, so that's how I got that job. So I started working at a Hunter Ambulance in Far Rockaway. So now I'm working at Hunter. I'm learning the ropes. And you got to remember, now, when you start working as an EMT, there's two kind of EMTs. There's a tech. That's a tech that when you work as an EMT, you've been working there for 3-4 years. You don't. When somebody say, "Yo, what you do?" You don't say, "I'm an EMT. I'm an emergency medical." No, you don't say that. You be like, "Yo, I'm a tech," and everybody in the medical field knows what you mean. I'm a tech. But then you also have a super tech. A super tech is the people that just started to up to a year. Because when you just start working at that job and you get that uniform and you get that badge, you're gonna feel like a hero. You're gonna go to the uniform store, you're gonna go to the supply store, you buying all of the equipment for your belt, flashlights, even though you work in the daytime, you're gonna have the big flashlight, you got the roller tape, the shears, the scissors, you got 2 pair of scissors, you got the oxygen key, you're gonna have your stethoscope around the belt, you got everything. You got a blood pressure cuff, even though the ambulance has a blood pressure cuff and a stethoscope, you got your own stethoscope and your own blood pressure cuff. Like, bro, you not playing around. All your equipment is going to look brand new. Your uniform is freshly ironed every day. They call that a super tech. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to work with a super tech. Right? Only people that want to work with a super tech is another super tech. All right, because y'all got a lot in common. But like if you're a veteran, an OG vet, you just want to do your 8 hours and go home. You're not trying to be, going above and beyond. And that's the same on any job. You see a police officer when they first come out of the academy, you see their fucking pants is crispy, they fucking gun belt, everything is brand new. Like, they got fucking 10 magazines on one side. They not playing. But then you see that cop that been working for 15 years, all he got is a gun on one side. He got a flashlight in his back pocket. He got handcuffs in his side pocket. They not even, that's the kind of cop that you want to get pulled over by. All right, because they ain't got nothing to prove. They just doing the job now. But I said that to say this. So for the first couple of months I worked there, I was on some super tech shit. Like, yo, bro, I'm out here. I'm a fucking hero. I'm running up in people's houses. Yo, I'm carrying people. Yo, I'm not even putting people on a stretcher. They got me working with a girl, and she can't lift the stretcher. We put the patient on the stretcher, and she can't lift him. I'm just carrying the person like a baby down the stairs by myself. You know what I'm saying? The person breathing and slobbing all over my shirt. I'm carrying them down the stairs by myself because I'm a fucking hero. You know what I'm saying? That's how I did that for a couple of months, right? Now, when I'm working out, I'm gonna start with this is part of the origin story. All right, this is part of the origin story. So I'm working for a few months. Few months go by. Now, when you first start working at a new job, at a new company, you're not gonna get a permanent shift unless you're lucky. When you first start, you're going to get your 40 hours, but Monday, you're going to work 9 to 5 because Bob called out. Tuesday, you're going to work 3 to 11 because such and such is on vacation. Wednesday, you're going to work this shift. Maybe the following week, Michael is on vacation. So you're gonna fill in for Michael them 5 days that he's on vacation. You're gonna fill in for him. So it takes a while to get a permanent shift. They're gonna ask you what kind of shift you want, and then it takes a while to try to get that permanent shift. So they asked me, what shift do you want? I said, I want to work 3 to 11. That's perfect for me because I could get off of work at 11, 11 or 12. I could go home, change, and I'm back out in the streets. I'm back out in the club. I'm on the block shooting dice with my boys, and then I can stay out all night. I can sleep all morning. When you're young, if you got to be to work at 3, you wake up at 2:17. I'm waking up at 2:17. I'm leaving my house at 2:36, and I'm clocking in at 3:01. You know what I'm saying? So I was like 3 to 11 would be my ideal shift. So cool. But before I let me rewind a little bit. Let me tell you my first day on the job. So my first day on the job work now, because they make you do like a ride along. So you sit in the back of 2 people. That's called a ride along. Just to get the rope, see what they do. So you got to do a ride along for about a week. So I did the ride along for a week. Now it's my very first week of working on my own. So I get to work. They like, yo, you working 8 to 4. So I get to work at 8 o'clock. I clock in. They give me the keys to the truck. Then, you taking truck number 22. I bet. Who I'm working with. They said, you're working with this guy right here. His name is Horace Prince. And shout out to my dude, Horace Prince. He watches my videos. He gonna see this video. Now, when you work on an ambulance, everybody calls each other by their last name. Okay, so his last name is Prince, so everybody called him Prince. My last name is Malik, so everybody just say Malik. So I walk up to him, I say, yo, what's up? And the crazy thing is, me and him was the same age. He's from Brooklyn, I'm from Queens. So I said, yo, what's up? My name is Malik. He said, yo, what's up? I'm Prince. I said, yo, we working together today. He said, I bet. So we go out to the truck. He's like, yo, all right, so now he's doing the check in the back. I'm doing the check in the front. He said, how long you been working here? I said, a week. He said, me too. I said, oh, okay. Damn, okay. Now, keep in mind, both of us only been there. We only did ride-alongs. We never worked outside yet. So they put us together. So, but as we walk into the truck, I said, you want to drive or you want to tech? Now, when you work on an ambulance, the 2 position, the driver is called the driver, and the person who's in the passenger seat is called the tech. The tech controls all of the medical vibe. He calls the shots. Like when you get to that person's house, it's the tech's decision. Oh, how much oxygen should you give the person? Do you want to give a med? And whatever medical decision has to be made, the tech is calling the shots. The driver, his responsibility, he's going to help you, but he has to do what you say. If you say, look, man, it looks like you got a fractured, tib fib. We're going to use a traction splint. The driver can't be like, nah, that's not a good idea. I think we should do this. No, the tech is the one calling the shots. The driver, his job is to get to the hospital. All right, he'll drive to the hospital, drive. He's the helper. All right, so when we walk up to the truck, I said, you want to drive or you want to tech? So Prince said, I want to tech because we was working in Far Rockaway. Prince said, I want to tech because I'm not familiar with Far Rockaway. I don't know like all of the streets and all of that. I'm not good with maps. You good with maps? I said, yeah, I'm good with maps. I said, okay, I'll drive you tech. Now, meanwhile, I don't know Far Rockaway like that. I just started working there about a week. And even when I live in Queens for mad years, I never really hung out in Far Rockaway like that. Ain't really nothing in Far Rockaway except for the beach. The beach and the projects. So I ain't really fuck with Far Rockaway like that. So he said he wants to tech. All right, so cool. So he's teching in the back. The driver, all right, when you first walk into an ambulance, all right, this is all important for the future stories. When you walk out of the base and y'all walking up to that truck, the driver, his responsibility is to check the tires, check the gas, make sure you wash the truck, check the engine oil. It's a checklist. Now the person who's in the back, and all of my EMTs out there, let me know if they still do this. There was a thing called an 800. It was called an 800. In the back of every ambulance. The query is hold up. Calm down, bro. Calm down. In the back of every ambulance, there's 800 things that have to be checked before you leave that base. So if you look in this cabinet right here, you got to have X amount of 4x4s, X amount of oxygen mask. You got to have X amount of tape. You got to have, you got to have nasal can. You got to have all, I'm not going to get too deep with it, but there's certain things you got to have, especially when it comes to like 4x4s and gauze and bandages and all. You got to have a certain amount. Now, if you get your own truck, you got a solid partner, y'all work every day in the same truck, nobody else use your truck except y'all. What we used to do is put zip ties on the cabinets. Because a lot of cabinets you'll never use. Like, how many times are you going to deliver a baby? Very rarely. So there's one cabinet that has all the pediatric supplies, like the baby warming blanket and all, the baby size equipment. And there's probably like 100 things in there. And you have to open that cabinet and make sure everything is there. It's a checklist. But if you use that truck every day, you just put a zip tie on it. So when you come in the next morning, you look at that cabinet, the zip tie's still on it. You could check off that whole box. 100 things, check off just like that. So if you use the same truck every day, the 800 in the back, it should take you about 5 minutes to do, 5-10 minutes. You really just got to fill up the oxygen tanks. You just go through the tech bag. It should be quick. But if you never use that truck and all the cabinets is open, the 800 in the back could take you a half an hour if you do it correctly. And if you want to milk it, you definitely going to take a half. Like if you get to work tired and you want to milk that shit, you go in the back, cut the zip ties off. You hit the base on the radio like, yo, I just got in my truck. Ain't no zip ties. I got to do a full 800. I'm going to be out here for about 30 minutes before I leave. And then you take a quick 30-minute nap or you eat breakfast. A lot of people used to bring breakfast to work and then be like, yo, I'm doing my 800. Meanwhile, they eat breakfast. The driver check is mad quick. Okay. So anyway, so Prince, I keep saying Horace, but his name is Horace Prince. So Prince in the back doing 800. I do a little vehicle check. We hit the road. This is my first day on the job. We hit the road. I don't know where I'm going. He don't know shit. We don't got no calls though. So the dispatcher, his name was Tommy. Tommy said, "Stand by Seegert." Now, when you first get in the ambulance, the first thing you say is, "I say I'm using truck number 25." I jump in the truck. I pull up the radio. I say, "Yeah, this is truck number 25. Radio check." And the dispatcher will be like 5x5. That means loud and clear. And he'll tell you what to do. He'll say 5x5. Headed over to this address right here. We got somebody with a broken leg. Or headed over to this nursing home. Headed over to this place. Or he'll be like, "Stand by." When he say stand by, they'll say stand by Peninsula Hospital or stand by St. John's Hospital. What that means is, if this is the hospital here, you could go anywhere you want, but just be in a radius of that hospital. So that means you could pull over in an empty parking lot and sleep. You could pull over in front of a busy store and watch the girls walk in and out. You could pull over in front of the projects and just, people watch. You could do whatever you want, but just got to be in that area. Or you could just drive around. Like you could just kill time by driving around. So they said stand by Seegert. Seegert Boulevard is in Far Rockaway. So stand by Seegert, that means just chill by the beach. So Far Rockaway is all beach. So I'm like, all right, so I look at Prince. I said, "You want something to eat?" This is our first day together. I said, "You want something to eat? You need anything?" He's like, "Nah." He's like, "Yo." I said, "What you want to do?" He's like, "Yo, let's chill by Beach 20th Street where the mall is at. Like little mini malls and shit, like little shopping district. Let's pull over right there." Because both of us, we the same age. We got the same goal. We trying to meet some girls. Yeah? So I'm like, "Yo, let's pull over by Beach 20." You're like, "Bet." So now this is my first day driving the big ambulance. I'm feeling good. Yo. As I'm driving, Prince like, "Yo," he used to call me Ak. He's like, "Yo, Ak." I told, because I said, "My name is Malik," but everybody called me Ak. So he started calling me Ak immediately. So he's like, "Yo, Ak, look out the window." It's just a chick with some tight pants. I'm like, "Oh shit." So, I'm a young dude, so I'm hitting the little siren, the whoop, whoop. Yo, Sade, yo. We just being two douchebags. I'm not paying attention. There's another fucking ambulette. Not an ambulance, an ambulette. You know those vans, like, for accessibility to vans? I'm making a turn underneath the oversight, what do you call it? The raised train station, what do you call those? Like the elevated train. They had the little, in Far Rockaway, there's a lot of elevated train, the A train. I'm making a left. The ambulette is making a left at the same time. I'm busy looking at the girls. I had a little fender bender right there on the spot. I'm like, damn, yo. When we wrap, Prince like, "Oh shit, yo." I swiped the whole guy's mirror off, right? It wasn't the worst, but it was I swiped this whole shit. So he pulls over, I pull over, I jump out. I'm like, "Oh shit, my bad, bro." He like, "Damn, son, you ain't see me like that." I'm like, "Look, man, it's my first day driving this big ass ambulance. I'm not really comfortable driving a big truck. It's my first day, yo." So I'm like, damn, "Yo, I'm getting fired on my first day. Ain't this a bitch?" So I get on the radio. I'm like, "Yeah, 25 to base. Can I give you a landline?" That means you want to call them. You don't want to say some embarrassing shit over the radio. I said, can I give you a landline?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Bet." So I called him on the phone. I said, "Look, man, I got into a little fender bender." He's on the phone laughing, cracking up. He said, "Yo, come back, bring it back." They like, "Bring it back to the base. Come back to the base." I'm like, "All right, bet." I'm looking at Prince like, damn, yo, I'm getting fired and they laughing, they whatever. I get back to the office. I get back to the office. I'm wondering why they laughing. Soon as I walk in the door, you got the manager, the supervisor, they right there. They like, "Yo, Malik, my bad. They're like, my bad. You know, the policy is you never put two new fish together. You don't put two brand new people together. That's not how it works. You got to put somebody who's been there for at least a month or two. Like, that's the newest, like, at least a month. But you never put two brand new people together because both of y'all don't know your ass from your elbow. You know what I'm saying? But they was kind of laughing. They was like, yo, we made a mistake. You were supposed to work with this guy and Prince was supposed to work with that guy. But we made this mistake and put both of y'all together. Because I'm saying to myself, damn, yo, like, they just trust us like that first day. But they kind of laughing. They like, yeah, you know, I didn't even take there's a course that you take. It's called EVOC, Emergency Vehicle Operation Course. Like, in order to really become a daily driver, you got to at least take that course first. It's a one-day course. It's real simple. You be driving around cones and all that shit, learn how to park the big truck, learn how to use the mirrors correctly. I didn't even take that course. So I'm like, damn, they got me driving like, I'm like that. But they laughing like, yo, they was like, it's all a mistake. It's all a mistake. So whatever. So that was my very first day. So now I'm working, and the crazy thing is, me and Prince, to this day, we are still cool. And if I call him right now and be like, yo, Prince, what happened on our first day at work? He gonna start laughing. He gonna be like, yo, that was my fault. Cause low-key, I blame him. I'm like, yo, damn, why you had to point that ass out to me, yo? Like, I was doing great till you had to be like, yo, look over there. And he's scared, like, yo, look like it's an emergency. I'm looking like, yo, what? Oh, shit. If he didn't say that, I'm fucking around. But I blamed him. And to this day, we crack jokes. But anyway, you're going to hear Prince's name again, too, because he had he was a intricate part of changing my life a few years later. But anyway, so now, let's get to, now this is the origin story. So now I'm working on the truck. I work for about a good month. I'm filling in for Joe, filling in for Bob, filling in for Mike, filling in for Teresa. Every day I got a different schedule. They said, look, we got a nice, juicy schedule that opened up 3 to 11, Monday to Friday. 3 to 11, just opened up. I said, what? Oh, only after a month? Oh, I'm in. I said, put me down on that shift. And he said, yo, the good thing about that shift is you work 3 to 11. If somebody calls out from 11 to 7, you get first dibs. So there's a lot, and people call out a lot. He said, you get first dibs. So that means I work 3 to 11. Before they call anybody on reserve, they'll be like, yo, whoever's working 3 to 11, y'all want to stay on? And they give that crew the first dibs. So he was like, this shift has a lot of overtime built into it. Like, you're going to be making money. I'm like, yo, say less, yo. I want it. They said, the only problem is you got to work with Angel. I was like, I don't give a fuck who. I was like, I don't give a fuck who that. I was like, I don't know nothing about Angel. I was like, I didn't even know Angel at the time. But I didn't know him. They was like, only problem is you got to work with Angel, though. I said, what's wrong with Angel? They was like, you know, a lot of people don't want to work with him, though. That's what the manager tell me. Like, you know, a lot of people don't get along with him and all that. I'm saying to myself, I'm a people person. And I'm from the hood, bro. I'm from the hood. Ain't nobody strong arming me if that's what you're thinking. Like, don't worry about it, because that happens a lot. We're going to talk about that. So now I'm like, so they said, okay, starting Monday, you work 3 to 11. Come in 3 to 11. Say less. That was a Friday. They called me. Say less. Monday, I come in at 3 o'clock. When I walk in the doors, we had 2 dispatchers in the daytime. It was a white guy, kind of heavy set, Italian guy named Tommy, and there was a Spanish guy, short Spanish guy. His name is Rob. We called him Rob Dugra. I'm just laughing. It sounds like Rob Dugra. We called him Rob Dugra. Now, the thing about Rob is, and the thing about a lot of people that work in these jobs, and this is a quick side note, a lot of people that work on these jobs are hood dudes and gangsters. Y'all ever be on Instagram and you see a video of some young kids messing around with some older bus driver, and the older bus driver jump up and punch the young kid in the mouth and drag him, and you like, damn, that's a hood-ass bus driver. A lot of people don't realize that just because you got a real job don't mean you're not about that life. All right, just because you got a real job, you know, you work as a police officer, a fireman. Yo, a lot of these dudes, they work for the fire department. They get off of work, take off that fire shirt, and they be right back up in the projects, rolling dice. You know what I'm saying? Getting into squabbles, squaring up, catching fades. And then tomorrow, they be right back in their real job. You know, don't ever underestimate somebody just because of their job. All right, I learned that. Because that's how I was. I was super hood. Let me show you something, man. Because, you know, a lot of times I tell these stories, I like to use a little prop. Let me show you what I looked like when I was working on this damn ambulance, yeah? All right? This is what I look like in real life. This is what I look like underneath my uniform. I still had all of it. I had tattoos. I was muscle bound. You know, I look kind of crazy. Just in case y'all don't think that was me, look. I used to get off of work, put my do-rag on, put my headband, put my jewelry on, and I'm back outside. And then Monday morning, I'm back outside till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, go home, sleep, wake up the next morning, put my uniform on and go to work. You know what I'm saying? So and that's how Rob was. Rob was a dispatcher, a loose Puerto Rican guy. He was a dispatcher. And me and Rob ended up becoming mad cool. He lived in Far Rockaway. So I go in this is my first day on 3 to 11. I go in to get the keys to the truck or find out who I'm working with, which I know is Angel, but I never met him. So I said, yo, Rob, let me get the keys to the truck, because I had already planned that I wasn't going to drive. Because you got to remember, this is before GPS. There was no GPS. So if you I'm using this as my radio. They say, bus number 25, I'll pick up, 25 go, headed over to 3915 126th Street. All right, take it stat. Stat means like an emergency, like somebody with shortness of breath. Take it stat. It's not like now you just pull out your phone and be like 2915 36th Street, GPS, boom. Like, no, it's not like that. We had, if you didn't live out there and you don't know where 36 is, you got to pull out the map. Y'all remember the maps? You open up the map, you find it, you plot a course. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta, that's why driving was a big responsibility. Like, if you don't know the area, don't drive. Don't drive. Let the driver. And once you get to know the area, then it's like, if like right now, if I'm driving in Queens, you can't name an address I can't find like that, even without GPS. But back then, there was no GPS or nothing. So I didn't want to drive. I didn't know nothing about Far Rockaway. I'm like, I don't know who this Angel dude is, but whoever he is, I ain't driving. Because he been working there. Angel had been working there already for maybe a year and a half. So I'm like, he definitely know Far Rockaway, not me. And when you knew, they tend to keep you on Far Rockaway before they start sending you all over the place. So I said, let me get the keys. I'm gonna go do my 800. The 800 check in the back. So Rob gave me the keys and he started laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? He's like, yo, you working with Angel? I'm like, yeah. He pulled me to the side. He said, yo, watch your back, man. He said, yo, Angel is mad grimy. He said, Angel mad grimy. Yo, watch your back. He mad grimy. And I'm like, yo, what's up? Why nobody want to work with him? They said, look, man, the reason nobody want to work with Angel is because, first of all, he's a gangster. I'm going to tell you about Angel, man. He's a gangster, and he's one of them people some people know how to turn off the gangsterness at work and then turn it back on after work. He don't know how to turn it off. He's full-time gangster. When I use the word alpha male, y'all know what I'm talking about alpha male? Alpha male means like whenever you get around a group of guys, you got to be the main character. All right, alpha male, and I don't want to get into a whole bunch of semantics and all that, but you know that type of personality, like you got to be the big shot, you got to be the boss. And when you work on an ambulance, the person who's driving, they set a lot of the tone, because say we drop off a patient at the hospital at 4 o'clock. And now we clear from the hospital. There's no job. There's nothing to do. No calls. They say stand by somewhere. Now I'm hungry. I'm like, yo, bro. I'll tell the driver, yo, drive over to McDonald's. I want to get some McDonald's. The driver could say no. I don't feel like driving to McDonald's. Or like, say you want to drive somewhere that's like maybe 15 minutes away. The driver could be like, no, I don't feel like driving that far. Like, there's a White Castle right there. The furthest I'm going is White Castle. And that's what, that's why you got to have a partner that y'all in sync with, because if there's tension, it's going to be petty wars. You got to use the bathroom. Like, I got to use the bathroom, yo. Like, if you say we stand by the beach, and I say, yo, bro, I got to use the bathroom. Take me to the hospital real quick. The hospital might be like 10 minutes away. The driver's already like comfortable, like taking a little nap. He like, nah, man, I don't feel like driving right now. Like, you gotta wait, hold it in. It could be tension. And it could get ugly. And that's why I'm setting the mood for y'all, because I gotta tell y'all some stories. So he's like, yo, Angel is one of them dudes that it's my way or the highway. Like, he gonna want to eat from lunch wherever he want to eat at. And sometimes, like, some days it's so busy, every time you finish a call, there's another call waiting. So the radio, the number for lunch is 100. So like, say my bus number is 25, right? I say 25 clear. That means I just dropped the patient at the hospital. We clear. I say 25 clear. Can I request 100? That means I'm hungry. I've been working on. I need 100. That means give me a little 30-minute break. Don't give me no calls right now for 30 minutes. Can I request 100? And a lot of times they say grab 100 on your way to here. That means hurry up and get something to eat. You got a call, but take your time. Like, it's a non-emergency. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of calls we did was from nursing homes, non-emergencies. Like, yo, Miss Jenkins fell down. That's not an emergency. Like, she got a big bruise on her hip. That's not an emergency. Okay, but she still got to go to the hospital. And nursing homes, if you fall down and you get a bruise on your pinky, they're going to send you to the hospital because they want that money. So when I worked at Hunter, we did a lot of nursing home calls, and anybody who lives in Far Rockaway knows that there's about 60 nursing homes in Far Rockaway. So there's always something going down. But I said that to say this. You know, they'll say grab 100 on your way to this place. So now if you're not cool with the driver's like, look, I'm hungry. I want to go to White Castle. White Castle's like 10 minutes away. You can't take all day. But I said, look, I don't want White Castle. I don't eat that shit. Yo, can you take me to this healthy spot? It's 40 blocks in the opposite direction. The driver could say no. I'm going to White Castle. If you don't want enough from White Castle, then you're gonna have to wait till later. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a lot of beef. So Rob was telling me that Angel is one of those dudes that he don't take no shit from nobody. He don't listen to nobody. If you work with him, you got to eat what he want to eat. You got to do what he say. If he want to stay, like, because a lot of times, you know, like when you clear at the end of the day, say I work 3 to 11. At 11 o'clock, I'll be like, yo, bus number 25 clear. They be like, yo, you guys want to do one more? Like a little overtime. Y'all want to do one more? They got a bunch of calls holding. Y'all want to do one more? Both of us really supposed to agree. But it's really up to the driver. If the driver say yeah, he gonna start driving. You can't be like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit. So he'd be like, yo, Angel don't never want to do no overtime. He was like, yo, there's a lot of, everybody who works with Angel, after one day they come back in the office and they say, I don't want to work with that guy again. Or anybody who worked with Angel for more than 1, 2, 3 days, some people quit the job. Angel ran people out of the job. Some people will quit. So they was like, yo, and Rob was like, you not gonna like, you know, Rob was like, yo, Angel's one of them dudes like that. And, you know, he said, between me and you, you know, he into some gangster type shit. He be threatening people. He quick to punch people in the face. He'll wait for you after work. After work, he gonna tell you want that fade. After work, he gonna be standing by your car. I'm saying, like, if you get into beef with Angel, he gonna be at your car after work. And let me show you what Angel looked like too, because I got a photo. All right, now look, this is, I'll post it, but this is a photo of me and Angel. This is Angel right here. Now, Angel is a Spanish dude. He looks black, right? Because he cut his hair low, but it's a Spanish dude. And you see, I'm kind of big, but he's taller than me. But I had a little bit more muscle, but he was a stocky dude, like, you know, a big, you know, a kind of big dude, right? So, but he striking fear in niggas' hearts. Hold on. So Angel had done, got everybody shook. Everybody at the job is scared of Angel. Nobody want to work with Angel. And when you do work with Angel, you got to be on your P's and Q's. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm laughing to myself like, yo, I'm looking at Rob like, oh, Rob don't know me. Rob don't really know me. I'm like, this nigga don't know me. I'm like, Angel. And meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, as a Spanish dude, I'm like, yo, he tried that bullshit with me. He in for a surprise. He's in for a real surprise with me. I'm laughing like, oh, I look forward to working with this nigga, yo, because low-key, I'm somewhat of an alpha male myself. And when I say alpha male myself, I'm not a follower, okay? Anytime I do some shit, if I'm not the leader or if I'm not at the top of the crew, I don't want to be involved with this shit, all right? You know what I'm saying? And if y'all don't believe me, I'll leave a link. Go watch one of my Amazon Warrior streams with Hollywood. Because a lot of stories I tell, you know, so some of them be sounding, you know, fishy here and there, but listen to that Amazon Warrior stream with Hollywood, and he'll tell you. Because Hollywood is like me too. Like, nah, man, that's why I could never be a blood or a crip. I couldn't be in a gang because I can't have somebody above me. I can't have some OG telling me what to do, giving me orders. Fuck out of here with that shit. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always been like, I'm my own person. Nobody ain't telling me what to do, right? So in my mind, I'm already like getting my vibe ready. Like, all right, well, he gonna be on some gangster shit. He got a surprise. Cause I'm from motherfucking Southside Queens, bitch. Yeah, we could do this, yeah. We could do this. So I'm already kind of hyping myself up. Now, keep in mind, this brings me back to the super tech shit. Every ambulance in the back of the truck. Y'all ever call an ambulance and the people come and they got that bag in their hand? That bag is called a jump bag or a tech bag. And inside of that bag is they call it a BVM, the bag valve mask. You know, like when you see somebody doing CPR, the BVM, you see the oxygen mask, all of the 4x4 bandages, the tape. You know, there's a lot of shit in that tech bag. That's the bag that you carry into somebody's house. Okay, you got all the basic stuff. Somebody got stabbed. You come in there with that tech bag. You could treat basically the majority of emergency shit is in that bag. Now, every ambulance has that bag in the back. But if you're a super tech, you bring in your own bag. There's one in the truck already, but your super tech ass got another one. You got it. The one in the truck is a blue one. It's kind of beat up. It's been in the back of that truck for years. Everybody share it. Everybody use it. No, you want your own shit, yo. And you got a nice brand new orange one or a neon green one with your initials on it. And when you open your shit up, you got, because all of the equipment you could just take from the hospitals, but you got your shit stuffed. You supposed to have 16 4x4s. You got 30 4x4s. You got everything up in that bitch, right? You got your own tech bag. Now, when you see somebody with their own tech bag, you're like, oh boy, this is super tech. Oh yeah, he not cutting no corners. He not trying to milk. Because sometimes you want to milk the clock. Like you drop off a patient at the hospital, but you've been going all day. You didn't eat yet. So you got your lunch in the truck that you didn't eat yet. When you get to the hospital, we call this milking. You get to the hospital, you drop the patient in the stretcher, then you come back in the truck and you call them on the radio and you say, look, they don't got no beds yet. We got to leave the person on our stretcher because there's no beds. The emergency room is packed. So we got to wait. And sometimes you could be waiting for hours. So we'd be like, yo, we're going to milk this shit. We have to drop the patient off, but they have people driving around, that will catch you. But we'd be like, yo, we're going to have to drop this patient off, and then we're going to milk this shit for about 30 minutes before we call clear. We're going to sit in the back and eat, and then call clear. When if it's a day that you've been running, right? So, but a super tech just ain't going to eat. Nah, they just gonna eat while you driving. They gonna eat and they gonna eat in the truck. They just gonna eat with the body right there. They don't care. Like they not cutting no corners. So I'm like, cool. So back to the story. So I'm like, I bet. So they said, look, man, here's the keys. Y'all driving the truck 119. I never forget. That was my truck. 119. They said, this gonna be y'all permanent truck. This is 119. And when Rob gave me the keys, he's like, yo, this Angel's truck, yeah. He started laughing. He said, this Angel truck, so just, you just be careful, yo. This is Angel shit, yo. So you don't be touching the radio stations and all that, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is shit, yo. I'm laughing around, so I'm like, whatever, nigga, give me the keys. So now I'm in the back of the truck doing the 800. I never seen Angel yet. I don't even know what he looked like. All of a sudden, I'm in the back. The nigga comes and opens the back door mad hard, yo. Open the back door, you just swung it open mad hard. Bang. He said, yo, what up? He tried to thug me out. Now, look, man, there's an old saying, real recognize real. All right, any real nigga will recognize another real nigga immediately. And real niggas smell fear and weakness. That, a bully will smell your fear and weakness immediately and capitalize off that. And by the time you know it, it's too late. You can't come back from that. So he opened the door mad hard and he was like, yo, who you? I said, I turned around. I said, who the fuck is you? And he had this look on his face. That's exactly what I said. I said, who the fuck is you? Like, because I didn't like the way he opened the door mad hard. He was like, yo, I'm Angel. I said, oh, all right. I said, I'm Malik. I said, yo, they got us working together, yo. I said, matter of fact, they got us working together permanently. He was like, oh, okay. He nodded his head like, okay, like looking me up and down. Oh, okay. Where you from? I was like, I was born in Brooklyn, but I'm from motherfucking Southside. I ain't say like, I said, I'm from Southside. He said, Southside Queens? I said, yeah. I said, where you from? He was like, I'm from Bed-Stuy. I said, okay, no doubt. I was like, I was born in Brooklyn. I got a bunch of people out there. I'll be out there all the time. He like, oh, word? Okay, no doubt. Like, we still feeling each other out. But it's a lot of fucking alpha male energy tension. We feeling each other out. And I love this story because this is a true story. We feeling each other out. Our answers are mad short and sweet. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No doubt. Oh, yeah, no doubt. He like, I feel you. Yeah, I feel you too, nigga. Yeah, what up? So then he said, yo, check this out. He said, I don't know if you heard about me and all that and shit, but he said, I see you got your little super tech bag and all that. He was like, look, I just want to let you know right now, I ain't that super tech nigga. Like, we working through the 11, 10:59, I'm ready to go home. Like, I got shit to do after work. He said, I know you got all that shit in the bag. Like, nah, man, we don't even move like that. Now, meanwhile, unbeknownst to him, he didn't know I carried my own tech bag, right? But the reason I carried my own tech bag is when you open up my tech bag, I had a nice bright orange bag. Inside of my tech bag, I had Word Up magazine, I had the Source magazine, I had a CD player, I had Mad Snacks. This is where I had a little bit of weed because remember, back in the days, you know what I'm saying, like you get pulled over with some weed, you're going to jail. So what I would do is I put the weed, you see the BVM mask, the bag valve mask? What I did was I separate it. I put my weed and my roll-ups in there and put it back in the bag. So when the police pull me over and they see my tech bag on my front seat, they not looking through that. And if they open it up, it's mad EMT shit inside of there. You know, of course I had my magazines or not, but I had like, it wasn't a real tech bag. It had some, you know, a little bit of EMT shit in it to make it look real, but the majority of it was snacks, magazines, you know, this other shit. He was like, I see a little bag right here. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, I don't be doing all that super tech shit. I said, yo, bro. I said, yo, check this out. I opened the bag, and you see, I had the magazines rolled up. I used to be a sucker for Snickers bars. I had like 4 Snickers bars. I had motherfucking drinks. I had a couple of fucking cans of soda. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I got some cool out shit in here. Yo. I was like, you like that shit, right? He was like, to this day, if I ever see Angel again, I'm gonna find him one of these days and bring him on this stream. When he opened the bag, he said, oh shit, you know what he said? He said, yo, I like your style, yo. he said, oh, I like your style. I see what you did there, yo. I'm like, yeah. Now also, here's another thing. When you're trying to get a permanent partner, nobody, and I mean nobody, want to work with you if you don't got no dirt. If you don't got no dirt on you, if you don't drink, if you don't smoke, if you don't use some kind of drugs, which back then everybody was, like all of the white boys was sniffing coke, all of the black people was smoking weed. It was good, bro. I'm just saying, but there was a big thing on my job. Like a lot of the white guys, they'd be doing bumps after work left and right. You know what I'm saying? I never fuck with that type of shit, but I like to smoke weed. But nobody want to work with you if you ain't got no dirt on you, because then, you know, you the feds, yo. You liable to tell. You like, y'all can't even milk the clock. Y'all can't do nothing because you too clean, yo. You gotta have a little dirt, yo. So the first thing people gonna do is they're not gonna ask you, yo, bro, you use drugs? They gonna try to be like, yo, what you do after work? Like, you be partying, like, you know what I'm saying? They gonna want to know, like, you know, what you do. You know what I'm saying? You know, what you into, yeah. So he was like, yo, I like your style and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and a lot of ways that they'll do it is they'll be like, yeah, you know, after work, probably just smoke a blunt and just chill, you know what I'm saying? What you getting into? And then, you know what I'm saying? If you cool, you be like, oh, where you got weed? Oh yeah, after work, oh, you no doubt. Let's go sit in your car and we smoke a blunt after work. Yeah. And that's how people get cool. Like, believe it or not, this happens a lot. It happened to me a lot. So, you know, he made a little slick comment. He's like, yeah, man. He said, yeah, I'm from, you know, he's like, after work. He's like, yo, he said, so we talking, like, while I'm doing my 800, he jumped in the back and we talking. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, I'm trying to get off of work on time today. He's like, I hope it ain't busy. I'm trying to get off on work on time today, man. I got a blunt rolled up in my car, man. You know, my girl was stressing me all day. Like, I can't wait to get off of work and smoke this blunt. Like, throwing it out there. I was like, yo. I said, oh, you got one in the car? I said, oh, check this out. I opened the BVM, unscrewed the back. I said, look at this, yeah. He's like, oh shit! I had my weed right there. I said, I got some shit too. I said, yo, after work, let's burn it down, yeah. Burn it down, and you know what I'm saying, and we get to know each other a little bit. And he was like, yeah, no doubt. But the thing is, yo, all of that gangster shit, all of that tough guy shit that he be running on everybody else, he didn't run it on me. Like, we became friends immediately. You see that bitch? We became friends immediately. I got another photo I want to show y'all. We became friends immediately. Not only friends immediately, to the point. Let me show you something. Let me show y'all something real quick. Hold up. Let me go to my photos. This is an important part of the story. Important part of the story. Hold up. My bad, y'all. I'm on this bitch ass iPhone here. All right, check this out. I want to show you. Look at this. I'm gonna show you how this works. We became friends. Not only friends. This is one of my favorite pictures of all times. These are my brothers. Okay. Now, Mook, my brother that passed away, is the one taking the photo. But I got a few photos of just me, Mook, and Bashir. The dude on the right, that's my oldest brother, Bashir. That's Hollywood. That is my day one from high school, 14 years old. That's me. That's Angel. And that's Vic, another one of my day ones, like one of my guys. So usually it's just me, Dave, and Vic. That was the trio. But look, you see Angel right there? Yo, not only did we become friends, like we became brothers, right? So anyway, so this is our very first day, right? So we working and shit, but at the same time, you know, we still kind of like feeling each other out and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, like he tried he didn't try to gangster shit, but I had to let him know like all of that my way or the highway shit. That's not how it works, yo. So like even when it's time for lunch. I'm like, yo, I'm fucking starving, yo. What you doing? What you get for lunch? And he was a big White Castle dude. He's like, I'm fucking White Castle. I was like, I don't be eating those fucking murder burgers. I'm like, yo, there's this other spot. I was like, the pizza spot. But it's a little bit further from White Castle. I said, I want to fuck with the pizza spot. He's like, damn, man, you don't want to just get White Castle? We right here. I'm like, fuck that White Castle shit, nigga. I was like, yo, if you don't want to drive, yo, you jump out, get in the passenger seat. I'll drive to White Castle. While you eat. Like, but the point is, I'm not eating what I want because you don't want to drive there. Like, you know, like we it's like we test each other's boundaries and all that until we realize that, okay, cool. So now we get off of work, we start smoking a blunt, we start getting to know each other, and then come to find out, this nigga is in the gang, right? Now, y'all know there was 2 big Puerto Rican gangs back in the days. Y'all remember the Nietas? There was the Nietas, and there was the Latin Kings. I'm on that A. Y'all know I'm on that A. All right, so Angel, his nickname was Low. They called him King Low, right? Now, meanwhile, both of us, you know, we telling stories like while we smoking, but you know, we both skeptical because he like, yeah, I'll be fucking with the Kings, you know what I'm saying? I'm on that A type shit, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, this is before Instagram and all, so you ain't got no proof. So I'm like, all right, I don't know if he just trying to, you know, because a lot of times niggas will bluff you. Niggas will thug you into some bluff shit. So he trying to, like, he talking about all the gangster shit he into and all that. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I'll fuck with Southside, yo. I'm from Southside Queens. I'll fuck with the Queens, dude. Let me show y'all a picture of my crew real quick. Look. This is how my crew, all my crew, me, Dave, me, Hollywood, and Vic, we all big dudes. We all work out. We all got tattoos. Our uniform is wife beater. And this is only 3 of us. Yo, this is only 3 of us. My crew was about 30 deep of gym dudes, Diamond Gym, 30 deep of dudes that look like this. And dudes in Hollywood and Vic, these some riders, yo. Like, these some real niggas that will go out. So I'm like, yo, so he telling me about his, you know, his gang and shit. I'm like, well, you know, yeah. I'm like, well, that's cool, but I fuck with the South Side. You know what I'm saying? Like, we going to parties. We be at parties and all that. And somebody talk some shit, they getting smashed. I said they getting smashed. And he was just telling me stories about how they be smashing dudes. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's the same thing on my end. I'm like, yo, anybody fuck with me? Yo, first of all, anybody fuck with me, we shooting that fade immediately. And then if they got a crew, I got a crew too, nigga. And my crew, if I make one phone call, I had 30 niggas up at this job right now. And I don't give a fuck about this job neither. And and that's when we started like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We started like feeling each other out to see if niggas, you know what I'm saying, it's really true or not. So I gotta find out if this shit is true or not. So I'm working with Angel for a couple of days, you know, about 2 weeks. And we every day after work, we sitting in the car smoking blunts. And we becoming real friends. So one day after work, he like, yo, you know what I'm saying, I gotta go to this one of these king meetings and all that shit. You know, you can't bring nobody and all that, but he's like, after the meetings, we be chilling and want to come through and shit. I'm like, all right, bet. I just want to see like if he really about that life. Yeah? So I go and he was about that life. They all had the beads on. They all greet each other. I'm on that A, all that shit. I'm like, oh, okay, he really like that. He really liked that. I'm like, okay, cool. I started having a little respect for him, but he ain't really know me like that neither. So then I'm like, well, one day was a Friday. I'm like, yo, my boy having a little joint. I was like, you want to come and come to this little joint with me? I was like, and not to mention you get to meet some of my dudes. Yo. He's like, all right, no doubt. So he's like, yo, you mind if I bring a few of my dudes? I'm like, no doubt. He used to hang with these 2 dudes, like his 2 right and left hand mans, right? They was gangsters. Yeah? So he pulled up. They pulled up he used to drive this Honda Accord. So he pulled up. They all smoked out. So now I told him where to meet me at. So he pulled up. I'm outside with my team. Yeah, outside with my team. Yeah, and you can tell like he didn't expect it to be like that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't expect it, but I'm outside with my niggas. Yeah, and he seen my niggas and my team, and he seen the way we was moving. He was like, oh no, that he ended up really starting to hang out with his team less and starting to hang out with me and my niggas more. Yeah? Like he liked the way we was moving a little bit more. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so that's the origin story. That's how we became friends. Now I'm gonna bless y'all with one more story, one more part of this story, right? Now that was the origin story. Now the name of this story is called Sometimes You Gotta Let Shit Happen. All right, that's the name of this part of the story. Sometimes you gotta let shit happen. Now that y'all know how all of the inner works, I ain't gotta talk about all that shit ever again. So now, I'm working 3 to 11, right? So now keep in mind, now me and Angel, we don't work together now. We have been working together now for a couple of months. And one thing about working on an ambulance, the person you working with they're going to become your family member. Because you got to remember, this is before the internet. You see right now, you walk them on an ambulance and the two people sitting in the truck not doing nothing. They're going to be like this. Both of them going to be in the truck on their phones, on their iPads, on the game. And so they're going to be, they're not going to be sitting there talking. They're going to be like this. Back in the days, nah, man. Ain't no social media. Ain't no Google. Ain't none of that shit. You read magazines. How you can only read a magazine for so long. If you're working a double, you're working with somebody in that little truck. In the front of that little truck, you're working with somebody for 16 hours. You're going to get to know that person. You're going to get to know that person better than their wife and their husband. Like, you're going to be knowing everything. You're going to know that person's fucking poop schedule. You're going to know that person's, when they sick. You're going to know everything. You're going to know their attitude cycles. Like, some days somebody got somebody in a bad mood. You're going to know. Like, you're going to get to know that person. So I've been working with Angel now for like a good 6 months. 6 months in, now me and him, we like this. We know where we ain't even got to. We can give each other a look. We ain't even got to say nothing. Like when they call on the radio, like, yo, y'all want to do extra job? I could just look at him. He'd be like, nah. I'd be like, yo. He'd be like, yo, you want to work late today? I'd be like, nah. He'd be like, all right, cool. But some days, like, we're not working late on Thursday and Friday. But on a Tuesday, I'll be like, yo, son, you want to do a double tonight? Yeah, why not? All right, fuck it, yo, no doubt. We're going to do a double tonight. All right, we're going to get this bread. When you're working with somebody who's cool, the job is so much better, right? Because we playing cards in the truck, we gambling. So, all right, so anyway, back to the story. So now one night, it's around 8 p.m. Remember, sometimes you got to let shit happen. It's around 8 p.m. And what we used to like to do is, like I said, Angel was 1 year older than me. So you know what that means. Yo, we trying to get girls. We trying to, what I'm saying? We trying to be outside. And, and Angel is hood, I'm hood. A lot of dudes, when they tell you to stand by the truck, they don't want to stand by the projects, yo. They going anywhere but the projects. And Far Rockaway, there's a lot of projects. You got Redfern, Edgemere, and there's another one further down. But, the projects is where all the girls is at and where the action is at. But, like if you a nerd or you ain't really about that life, you're not going to want to stand by the projects, all right? Because people going to come and talk to you. People going to come to the truck and talk to you. And you don't want to talk to these hood-ass niggas, yo. You know what I'm saying? But me and Angel, we want to stand by the projects. You know what I'm saying? We want to watch the dice games. We want to chill, you know what I'm saying? So what we used to do is pull the truck over by the projects. This way we could watch the girls coming in and out. And in the meantime, like when it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night, we turn off all the interior lights. I had a little clipboard. Because most of the time, Angel would drive because he knew Far Rockaway. And I knew more about the medical shit than him. So that's why we had a dope relationship, because like I knew more about the actual medical shit. He knew a lot about the shit too, but I knew more than him. And I was better at it than him. So he would always be like, yo, like, because normally you'd be like, yo, I'll drive today, you drive tomorrow. But if you get a cool dude, like, yo, you know what? You just drive forever. You just permanently drive, I'll permanently tech. If you got a good system. We had a dope system. So one night it's around 8 p.m. It's dark outside. We sitting in front of the projects. Now, there's a hospital in Far Rockaway. Anybody who live in Far Rockaway, y'all know Peninsula General. They call it PG. PG Hospital. It's around the beach 50th Street, 50, 54th. I forget the exact number, but it's in the 50s. And it's right down the block. Like, the hospital's here, the projects is here, like across the street. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we dropped off a patient at like around 8 o'clock at PG. We got on the radio. We said, all right, 119 clear. It said, stand by PG. So I said, yo, pull over by the project. Let's chill right there. He like, bet, yo. So he pulled over by the project, by one of the main buildings, and you see the girls coming in and out, and you rolling with them, like, yo, shorty, here. Hey, what up, shorty? And not to mention, we have a contest to see who could bag the most chicks during the day. You know what I'm saying? We call it the belt, like the championship belt. Like, yo, I got the belt for today, son. I bagged 3 chicks today. Yo, you ain't bagged nothing today, son. You slipping. Like, we used to be going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to get the belt for the day, yo. You know what I mean? But anyway, so we park right there. I have my clipboard that I do my paperwork. We used to put the clipboard in between the seats and turn it into a table. So we used to play this game called Pity Pat. 3 of a kind, 2 of a kind, 3 of a kind, playing Pity Pat, but we play for $1 a game. You gamble it, help the night go by. So we gambling, put up $1. Oh, okay, I'll owe you. If we don't got no cash, even if we didn't have cash, we have a little notepad, like, all right, writing it down. So, okay, by the end of the night, all right, at the end of the night, nigga, you owe me $15, nigga. You owe me $15, or you could give me a ride home. Like, that's what Angel used to always do. He's like, yo, he's like, bro, you owe me $15, or you could give me a ride home. We call it even. I'm like, fuck, I gotta drive this nigga all the way to Brooklyn. Like, all right, whatever. Like, some days I ain't driving, and some days he driving. Like, all right, whatever. So we having fun. We playing Pity Pat. We chilling. I'm sitting in the passenger seat, my back toward the projects. All of a sudden, you hear somebody knocking on the window, mad hard. Startled me. I turned around like, yo, it's 3 girls knocking on the window. So I roll the window down. I'm like, what's up? They're like, yo, you gotta come help this dude. You gotta come help this dude, yo. Yo, they killing this nigga. You gotta come help this dude, yo. Now, normally, when you get a call on an ambulance, it comes over the radio. They tell your bus number, you got to call, whatever. That's the kind of calls you get. Or you could get flagged down. Getting flagged down means you just chilling, you eating lunch, and somebody comes up to the truck like, excuse me, I just got a splinter in my finger. Could you guys help me? That's called getting flagged down. Somebody flagged us down. That's an unscheduled call. And it happens a lot. You chilling by a McDonald's, somebody choking at McDonald's, somebody running out the door, knocking. Yo, this guy's in there choking. Oh, this guy just passed out. Oh, I get on the radio. Sorry, Tommy, we got flagged down. Now, when you get flagged down, that overrides the call you on. Unless the call you on is a super emergency, if you just chilling there and they gave you a call, getting flagged down overrides everything. Right? So I get on the radio. I'm like, yeah, this is 119. We just got flagged down. I don't even, and they like, so he's like, all right, 119, keep me updated and let us know what you like, let us know how to proceed. Means, do we need to call for backup? Because if it's a big fat guy, me and Angel, as big and strong as we is, if somebody who's 400 pounds or 500 pounds, sometimes you need help getting that stretcher in. So you got to call for backup. They call it, you need an assist. Like, yo, y'all need an assist? No. Okay, you need the police, you need a fireman, you need somebody else. Like, they like keep us posted. So it was 3 girls, and they looked aight. And this is the only reason this shit happened to us is because they looked aight. They was like, yo, y'all gotta help. They killing this nigga. We're like, who? What happened? Yep. You know, and they like, yo, he up on the 4th floor. Yo, niggas beat him, and he's bleeding on the floor like the niggas beat him. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now, normally when that happens, the very first thing you're supposed to do is call the cops. You get on the radio and you say, Tommy, yeah, we got a possible, like a violent situation over here. It's a situation with some violence. We need the cops. And you call the cops and you tell the person, well, we can't go inside there. We got to wait for the cops as an escort. Because, you know what I'm saying, we don't got no guns, they do. You can't just go walk up into some violence. You know, you can't do that. You can if you want, but you're not supposed to do that, and you shouldn't do that. But meanwhile, you talking about me and Angel, bro. We 2 fucking tough guys, you know what I'm saying? You got 3 chicks right there telling us to come help. You think we gonna be like, sorry, we have to wait for the police. And they gonna be looking at us like, yo, y'all some bitches. Y'all look like some bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was like, yo, we need your help. They was like, yo, come help. They gonna kill him. They gonna kill him. I'm like, yo, who's they, number one? Who's they? Like, it's a group of niggas up there? They like, nah. He got into some shit with his family, but the family members beat him, and now they left him right there, and he's bleeding out. Like, he need help. He dying right there. They like all exaggerating and shit. So me and Angel, so I look at Angel, I'm like, yo, what you want to do, yo? You want to call the cops, or you want to just run and grab this nigga? We right across the street from the hospital. Let's just go run and grab him and keep it moving. We call the cops. Now we're going to have to wait for the cops, and now we locked into a big, long job. Like, nah, man, let's just get this shit over with. Not to mention, you know, afterwards, you know what I'm saying, them chicks gonna be looking at us like fucking heroes, nigga. We, like, nah. So we had a quick conversation. I was like, what you want to do, yeah? I said, yo, let's just go get this nigga and keep it moving. All right, because, you know, at the time, me and Angel, we like this, so it ain't no one person's, at the time, everything is 50-50. So I said, yo, what you want to do? If he would have been like, nah, fuck that shit, I ain't going up in the project, you know, in the dark right now by myself, I would have been like, all right, fuck it, yo, we calling the cops. But I said, what you want to do? He said, what you want to do? I said, yo, let's just go grab him and take him to the hospital real quick, yo. We don't want to look like, you know what I'm saying? Next minute, we look like some suckers, and now we can't even chill by the projects because we look like some marks. You know what I'm saying? Niggas gonna be looking at us like now we can't even chill here no more. You know what I'm saying? They gonna violate us. Yeah? So I'm like, nah, man, let's just go help, yo. I'm like, yo, I bet. So I'm like, all right. So where the person at? They're like, yo, he's up on it was either the 3rd or 4th floor. I think it was the 4th floor. So now keep in mind, like I said, I've been working at Far Rockaway now for mad months. I done had 100 calls from the projects, so I already know the elevators and I know how everything go. I know the stretcher could fit in the elevator. Now, a lot of times, the stretcher won't fit in certain buildings in the elevator because the elevator's too small. But the stretchers that we had, you could kind of collapse them into like fully 90 degree, like the person sitting straight up, and we could get in the elevator along with 2 or 3 more people, like that. So I'm like, yo, let's just grab the stretcher. We're going to go up in there, throw him on the stretcher. You know what I'm saying? We're going to, no paperwork or nothing. Like, we're not doing no paperwork or nothing. We're just going to take him. It's not a real call for us. It's a flag down. So we don't need to get all we don't have to, it's a different protocol. So I'm like, we're not doing no paperwork, no nothing. We're going to get in and out. They're like, I bet. So we get out. We get to now we go inside the building. No one's there. The whole lobby of the building is empty. Press the button for the elevator. Bing! Elevator comes. All right, we squeeze the stretcher in there, put the back all the way up. I slide in, he slide in. All right, and one of the girls slide in. The other two girls ran through the staircase. So I'm like, yo, so in the meantime, I'm like, yo, what's going on? They're like, oh, we don't know the full story and all that, but, you know, we live on the same floor. And you heard the commotion and all that. They went to go check, and this nigga laying on the floor. I don't even know the whole story and all that. All right, bet. Say less. We get to the fourth floor. The elevator doors open. Bang! We get out. We start walking toward the apartment, which is only like a few doors from the elevator. You just hear mad shit. You just hear, yo, fuck this nigga. Yeah, what? Yo, what? Yo, we gonna wait till. Now I don't remember the guy's name. Let's just say John. I like to use John as a. Wait till John find out. He you dead, nigga. You dead. Fuck that. Yo, and you had a lady. Nah. Don't help him. Leave that motherfucker. I'm like, yo, you hear all that commotion from right there. So we walk up to the door. The door's open. We walk up to the door. I peek my head and I'm like, hello? EMS, emergency medical services, hello? You guys need an ambulance? Somebody call for an ambulance? Yeah, I'm trying to use my professional voice and shit. So the lady comes in like, yo, who the fuck said we need an ambulance, yo? Nobody ain't call y'all. Now I'm looking at the floor. I'm looking at the nigga laying on the floor. Yo, who the fuck called y'all, yo? I'm like, yo, nah, but some girls just came and then the girl was right there. And the lady is like, I told you not to fucking, I guess she told him she was going to call and she told him not to. I told you not to call. Now you got the fucking cops probably on the way and all this. They going back and forth and all that. So I'm like, yo, what happened? So now there's two dudes in there also. Now the two dudes come out the room and it's two hood ass niggas. They come out the room. As they walking past the dude walked past and stomped the dude on the head. Boom! As he walking past the dude on the floor. The dude laying on the floor snorkeling. Yo, blood fucking everywhere. Blood everywhere. I don't know if y'all ever seen somebody get beat down and they making that snorkeling sound. The dude is fucking snorkeling on his own blood, yo. Now, you know, keep in mind, as hood as I am, I'm the reason I got into this job is because I be helping people. Like, I don't like to see people hurting and pain and all that. Like, I want to help. So I'm like, we see him right there. We got to help now. We obligated to help. And yes, the cops is on the way. I just said that. Yes, the cops is on the way. We obligated to help. Move out the way. We got to help this nigga. And then so now Angel go to like roll the nigga over. So I'm like, yo, what's his name? Like, y'all, you know, we gotta get a minimum information. So I got my little clipboard, minimum information. This I don't name, date of birth. I don't need all that. Just give me his name and what happened. So she's like, look, I'm gonna tell you what happened. This motherfucker, I left him here with his 12-year-old niece. She's supposed to be babysitting. I come back home, he's molesting her. I come back home, they in the bed, yo. He got her naked in the bed, yo. Whoop, time out. What? Time out. He like, I caught him in the bed. Now the other two dudes, these is two random dudes from the building. She got some other niggas from the building she called real quick because the husband is on the way. John, I don't remember, I'm just making it. John is leaving work. He's on the way right now to come kill this nigga. Yep. But the other two niggas from the building, they done worked this dude. They stretched this dude out. They beat him to a pulp. They saved a little bit for John, but they already beat him bloody. They beat him bloody. So I'm like, look, I'm like, word? I'm like, damn, yo. And now keep in mind, I didn't have no kids at the time. Angel had a 1-year-old son. So Angel was like, oh, he did what? Oh, fuck this nigga, yo. Fuck that, yo. Fuck that, yo. Yo, get his ass, yo. Angel looking at the other dudes like, fuck that, yo. Like, well, fuck the cops. Y'all niggas better work him, yo. Angel just say, work him, baby. Y'all better work this nigga, yo. So I'm like, yo, hold up now, because we right here now. We're gonna eat some liability for this shit. So I'm like, look, man, if he did that, then you definitely gotta call the cops. You definitely gotta call the cops. I'm like, yo, your husband gonna come home, kill this nigga and go to jail? I'm like, no, they already beat him to a pulp. don't save your husband. You know, I'm trying to talk sense to the lady. I'm like, save your husband. Call the cops right now. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you know, this chomo, he should be in jail. This pedo, he should be in jail. Like you got to call the cops. You can't just beat him and let him get away with that. Or kill him. I mean, I guess killing him ain't gonna let him get away. But I'm like, nah, he need to be in jail, and you know what they're gonna do to him in jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking. You know, like I'm talking. Your rules, what the fuck wrong? So she was out here fighting. You know? So now I done switched from my professional voice to my hood voice because I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta adapt to my environment because when I'm talking professional, she talking to me like I'm a fucking EMT. So I'm like, listen, I had to switch to my hood voice. Like, listen, let me tell you something. Your husband gonna come right now, they gonna murk this nigga, and he gonna go to jail. And this nigga gonna be out touching somebody else's kid. Like, nah, call the cops, do it the right way, yo. Trust me, do it the right way. I'm talking sense to her. She like, all right, fuck him, yo. Take him, yo, get him out of my sight. Get him out of my sight. So I tell Angel, I said, yo, hurry up. Let's pick this nigga up, put him on the stretcher, and bounce before the husband come. And the husband, we don't want the husband to roll up in here right now. It's gonna be a problem. So I'm like, yo, pick this nigga up, put him on the stretcher, and let's go. So we just, we grab him, Angel grab him by his fucking ankles, I grab him by his shoulders, boom, put him on the stretcher, take the stretcher. Now, meanwhile, the stretcher can't fit in the elevator flat. Take the stretcher, I'll just flip up the back mad fast. Rah, rah, the back, the nigga sitting straight up. Still snorkeling, coughing. He can't even breathe. Like he breathing, but he just snorkeling all over the place. Like he out of it. I put the straps on, like, yo, let's bounce, yo. I'm like, I told her, the wife, the lady out there, I said, quick, write your name and phone number down right here, and we're gonna contact you, and we'll have the cops contact you and all that, because we need all the information. Y'all gonna want to press charges and all that. But I need to have something for my report. I don't need to know his name and all that. I just give me your name and I'll get back to you later. So she like, bet. She rolled the name down, shit. We get to the elevator. Press the elevator button. Anybody who lived in the projects, you know what I'm getting ready to say. You press the elevator button, what happens? You fucking wait. We waiting. We fucking waiting. Fucking 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5, 10 minutes. Now, it's only about 10 minutes, but that 10 minutes feels like fucking 3 hours, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit, I'm like, yo, I want to get the fuck up out of this building, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Before this thing again. Yo, we wait, finally, bing, elevator door open. Elevator door open. We push him in the elevator. Get down, we going downstairs. Just me and Angel in the elevator. Bing, get to the lobby. The doors open. There's fucking 30 niggas in the lobby. There's 30 niggas in the lobby. There's about 20 girls. Okay, let me not exaggerate. There's probably 20 dudes, probably 5, 10 girls, but the lobby is packed. We came in there, it was empty. The lobby of the building is packed. Packed. The doors open. All you heard was, oh, there he is. There he is. Yo, I'm on the Angel on the front. There's a little handle on the front strap in the back. Some nigga just ran up. Boop! Punched the dude in the face on the stretcher. Boop! Now, keep in mind, the back of the stretcher, I had to adjust it up to go in the elevator. So, like the lever wasn't all the way like into place, but it was in place. But if you rock it, it will move down one notch. When he punched him, boom! The shit dropped. Boom! It dropped one notch. Boom! And you're in the project hallways. The lobbies, you hear like a little echo. It was like you hear the echo, the boom. The nigga punched them dumb hard. 2 other niggas run up. So now I'm like trying to, the nigga that punched him, I like kind of grabbed him a little bit. I'm like, yo, chill. I'm like, yo, chill, yo. Like, he's in our custody now. We're not gonna just feed him to the wolves right there. He's in our custody right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to go sit in front of the judge and be like, yo, we pushed him into the crowd and just say, have at him. You know what I'm saying? Next minute we getting sued, yo. Like, nah. So I'm like, yo, we trying to help, but at the same time, we not really trying to help, but we trying to help. But we not really trying to help. Like, there's a few other dudes getting some licks in. Boom, boom, boom. They beating him. I'm holding this dude. All I hear is, boom. You know when you drop the stretcher? I don't know what happened, but when people was grabbing him, one of them hit the stretcher release. dropped the whole stretcher. Now, me and Angel, we used to call that an AML, atomic missile launch. Like sometimes, that's another story, but sometimes like you want to drop somebody on purpose. Like you want to drop somebody on the stretcher on purpose. And there's a reason that we did this. I'll tell you, that's another story. But you hit that lever and you let go, boom, the shit drop. AML, atomic missile launch. And they'll launch them into the back of the truck. I'll tell you real quick, that's for EDPs, emotionally disturbed patient. If you get an emotionally disturbed patient, and a lot of them emotionally disturbed patient just means crackhead, you get a crackhead, and the crackhead spit on you, because you gotta help whoever you gotta help. So we helping a crackhead, oh fuck this shit, oh fuck y'all niggas, and we taking an emotionally disturbed patient out of one of these manners, and we got him on a stretcher. He fucking around and spit right in your face. Fuck you, nigga, spit right in your face. Okay, when we get next to the truck and we got to put you in the back of the truck, we drop that button, boom, the stretcher drop. Then we pick the stretcher, launch you into the back of that shit. Yo, yo, don't judge me. I was young. Anyway, I hear the stretcher drop, boom. I look over, the stretcher drop. Yo, niggas is not stomping, but like trying to hit him and punch him. It's about 5 dudes on his ass, and the other dudes are just standing there like, yeah, man, fuck that nigga, yeah. So now me and Angel, we kind of like breaking up, because we trying to get the fuck up out the building. We trying to break it up, right? So now they like, yo, yeah, man, that's John's daughter. John, yeah, he gonna be here in a minute. I'm like, yo, we gotta let's get the fuck up out of here, yo. You know what I'm saying? So we like forming a little like shield around the dude, like, yo, chill. And they respecting us because we not like 2 small niggas. They respecting us like, yo, but one dude is like, yo, y'all niggas gotta get the fuck out the way, man. We gonna like, y'all gotta get out the way. We gonna take him off the stretcher. We taking him to the back of the building. Yo, fuck that, yo. Like, yo, we taking him to the back of the building. We gonna deal with this shit ourselves, yo. I'm like, that's not gonna happen, bro. I'm like, we can't do that because he's already on our stretcher. And I'm trying to talk to them man to man. I said, look, man, if he wasn't on the stretcher, if I just walked up in here just now, I would have just pretend I ain't see y'all and turned my back. But he's on my stretcher. I can't let y'all do that, yo. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to man. The nigga like, look, man, either y'all gonna move out the way or y'all gonna be in it with him, yo. So when he said that, me and Angel, and that's what I'm saying, man. We like brothers. We basically like, oh, hold up, yo. First of, yo, hold up. I know you're not threatening me, nigga. Like, yo, cause I'm like, now you tested me, yo. Now you tested my fucking G code, nigga. Like, somebody, we could do this. Like, either y'all gonna move out the way or shit gonna get real. I think he said something like, either y'all gonna get out the way or shit gonna get real. So I was like, what's that supposed to mean, yeah? I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? I went into my gangster voice immediately. Fuck is that supposed to mean, yeah? He like, yo, shit gonna get real. Y'all better move out the way. I'm like, nigga, well, I'm not moving nowhere. And now that you talking spicy, now I'm definitely not moving nowhere. Now we just staring at each other. I'm definitely not moving nowhere. And y'all niggas ain't gonna do shit, yeah? Now me and Angel like like we looking around like, but we trying to be tough guys, but you know, at the same time, you know, back in those days, man, both of us, man, we'll die for some pride, yo. Now, right now I'm not that stupid, but back then, like, bro, I don't give a fuck if it's 5, 10 niggas. It's me and Angel. We about to go out, nigga. Let's do what? You not clowning me, bro? So he's like, oh, word? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, y'all niggas ain't gonna do shit. I'm like, I told dude, I said, you ain't gonna do shit. And it was a little light-skinned nigga trying to be tough, and I get it, because that's, you know, I guess he knew the family and all that. But, yo, don't, you know, and he thinking I'm just some fucking EMT, like, you know what I'm saying? He thinking I'm just some EMT ass nigga, like, I got, you know, keep in mind, it's nighttime, so I got the quarter zip. I got the quarter zip on, so he don't see the tattoos and the muscles and all. He just thinking I'm some fucking EMT ass kid. And you know, Angel looking like the typical, you know, we just looking like some fucking like some squares, yeah. And that's why I said, don't let the uniform fool you, because niggas will get you, yeah. Niggas will get at you. So I'm like, yo, you ain't gonna do shit. That's when I started getting G. I was like, you ain't gonna do shit. And I started like pulling my pants, like, you know, adjusting my pants to scrap mode, like, just in case. I'm like, just let you know that I know the game too. So he said, oh, word? Oh, so he looked at me, and he knew he ain't want to, you know, I guess he, you know, because I said a little light-skinned nigga. He ain't, even with the quarter zip, you could tell that I had some guns underneath there a little bit. It's hard to see in the picture, but in real life, you could tell I was a little bit bigger. So he said, oh, word, it's like that? It's like that? And he turned around, and now where we hear, like, we a little bit close to the elevator. The doors is not that far away, but all the mailboxes is right there. And there's a bag right there on the floor. So he turned around. He said, oh, it's like that? Okay. Okay. And he turned around. Now I see him walking toward the bag. Like, you could tell like he was walking toward that bag. Now, look, man, anybody from the hood, when you get into some beef with somebody and they say, oh, it's like that, and they turn around and they start walking toward their car, or they start walking toward the locker or their bag, or they start walking toward somewhere, you already know they not walking there for exercise. They about to go get a weapon. They gonna go get a weapon. Now, meanwhile, me and Angel, we both used to stay with those big mag flashlights. We used to use those at night. Not for the flashlights, for going upside niggas' heads, you know what I'm saying, if we had to, because we got a lot of EDPs because they would purposely feed them to me and Angel because they knew both of us was like that. So they would feed us the EDP calls on purpose. And a lot of those crackhead calls, the dudes be getting loose, and you know what I'm saying, them dudes they think you got medicine, they think you got drugs in the truck, they want to rob you. We need the flashlight, because if you try to rob me on the ambulance, you getting cracked with that flashlight. I'll tell you some stories. I had to go upside a few niggas' heads, but I ain't even have the flashlight or nothing on me. I had a little hawk in my pocket, a little something like this, but I'm like, yo, the nigga turned around, say less, and he walking toward the bag, and I see him like, first I'm thinking he walking toward the door. But I see the bag right there. Like, he's like, the mailbox is right here, the bag is right here, the door's right here. So I see him walking. I'm thinking he's like, oh, say less, like he getting ready to run outside and go. And I'm like, all right, well, if he gonna go outside, then I'm about to dip. But I see him walking, and then I see him like going toward the bag. Like he was about to go toward the bag. So my instinct just kicked in. I ran behind him, and I hit him with "This is Sparta." I hit him with the Spartan kick, yo. Boom! I kicked him right in his back, and he was already kind of like almost leaning to pick up the bag. So when I kicked him, his momentum forced him to fall over. He fell over into the mailbox, boom, and rolled to the side a little bit. And I grabbed the bag. And when I grabbed the bag, all you heard was this. And you heard this, you heard keys, and you heard, boop, boop, boop. You know the sound of police? The sound that police make, like when it's 4 or 5 cops, it's a very distinct sound. You hear shoes, you hear the footsteps, you hear like a lot of keys, the handcuffs, you hear walkie-talkies going off. So as I pick up the bag, I hear that sound. I hear the door open. I hear scurrying. Like, yo, when the doors open, it's about 6 cops. And when the doors open, the one door on this side, the door on the other side, they came from the other door. When the doors open, a lot of the niggas that was in the hallway, in the lobby, they all started not running, but they all just started like, oh shit, I'm the cops. Like everybody just started dipping. Everybody started dipping. But you hear the walkie-talkies, you hear the radios and all that shit, right? So I turn around, I see Angel right there. It's the cops, and it's a dude. It's like about 6 cops. It's the housing cops, the project cops, and the regular cops. And it's a dude with them, right? Now, nobody, the dude, the stretcher's low to the ground. The dude is on the stretcher. I got blood on my shirt. I didn't even notice. I got blood on my shirt. It's blood. This nigga is leaking everywhere, yo. I'm standing there with that bag in my hand. Now, I'm holding the bag. I wish I had a demo, but I'm holding the bag, but the bag is light. The bag is super light. Like, there was no gun in it. Like, it was like, you pick up a bag with a gun. The bag is super light. So I'm like, I'm holding the bag. I turn around. I see the cops right there. So the dude that I kicked, he rolled. He got up and he ran out the door. But not ran, but he got up and walked out the door. He didn't even look back. When he seen the cops, he didn't even look back. He just got up and splurged off, right? So the bag, I had the bag in my hand, and I kind of went like this. Like, I shook the bag. Like, it was mad light. So I'm like, worst come to worst, he might have had a knife in the bag or something, but it was nothing even worth looking at. So the bag, I just put it right back on the floor. Put it right back. I just dropped it right back where it was at. So I walk over to the cops is right there. I walk over and they're like, yeah, they're like, yo, what's going on? We just got the call, like this the dude right here. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm like, according to what I heard, he touched a little girl and some dudes. I'm like, yo, some dudes, I don't even know who they are. I don't got their names of them, but some dudes that was in the building. I didn't say they in an apartment. I said some dude that was there earlier worked him over and left, and I got there and the lady's right there. I'm trying to look out for the niggas that beat his ass. I ain't gonna be like, oh, they beat his ass. They in apartment 4C. I was like, some niggas beat his ass. We got him. We found him on the floor. We picked him up, put him on the stretcher. We gonna go. So the cops is like, all right, yo, two cops is like, yo, we're gonna ride with y'all. Like, let's take him around the corner to PG. They're like, yo, where the any more information and all that? So I'm like, look, there's a lady right here. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, but I think y'all need to talk to this lady right here, apartment, 4C. Like, this a lady, just go knock on the door. Like, she gonna tell you the full story. But I'm like, this is a pedo right here, from what I heard. That's why they worked him. Yeah. Now the dude, the husband is right there. The husband is right there with the cops, but he's being mad cool, like way cooler than I thought he would be. He's being mad cool, I guess. Maybe he was on parole or probation, like maybe he didn't want to throw his life away, but he was just like being mad cool, or maybe he was just emotionally traumatized or whatever, but he was just right there talking to the cops, and they just talking. So I told the cop, I'm like, yo, can we continue this shit in the emergency room? Because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to get this shit over with. So the cops was like, all right, two of the cops are gonna ride with y'all to the emergency room, which is around the corner. So we jump in. I'm in the back, Angel driving. We got the two cops in the back. Yo, I'm looking around, and my whole stretcher got blood all over it. Like, this shit was a mess. So we get to the hospital. Drop him in the hospital. We go in the hospital, go right to the ER. And Angel was like, Angel being Angel, we walk up in the ER. The ER doc is like, yo, what y'all got? Angel was like, yo, this piece of shit right here just molested this girl. They're like, y'all do whatever y'all want with him, but get this piece of shit off our stretcher yet. Keep in mind, Angel got a brand new baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that hit him different. I didn't have no kids yet. Like, right now, I understand, like, but I didn't have no kids at the time, so it didn't really hit me as hard as it would have hit me right now, thinking about if that was if that was my kid. So anyway. So Angel, like, get this piece of shit off our stretcher, yeah. So the cops right there. So the cops and the cops and the cops and the ER doc, we put them in the bed and all that. They start like, oh yeah, we need this, we need that. This dude, like, he's in bad shape. He's breathing, but he's fucking snorkeling. He's in bad shape. And so the doc is like, yo, like, what did you do? Like, what kind of treatment did you do? Like, where's your PCR? A PCR is like the patient care report. It shows like what you did and all. He's like, what you did? I was like, I didn't do shit. I was like, I didn't do nothing. I literally didn't do nothing but pick him up and come across the street, because I'm telling the doc, I'm like, yo, it's a volatile situation over there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit was about to get real over there. And the doc is like, say less. Like, I just wanted to know, like, did I treat him with anything? I ain't do shit. I don't even know if he got internal bleeding. I didn't even lift up his shirt and look at his belly. I don't even know if he got stabbed. I don't even know. I don't know. And I didn't have time to do all of that shit. I didn't even want to do all that shit either. So now we drop him off. We go outside. Now it's like about the whole shit started at 8. It's like around, it got to be like 9:15. Like, the whole shit took about an hour and some change. So now we go outside. I still got a few more hours before 11 o'clock. But after all of that shit, like, every call, like, this working on an ambulance is what made me start smoking cigarettes. Like, when I started working on an ambulance, I never smoked cigarettes. But everybody I work with, I noticed everybody smoked. And I'm like, damn, yo, I smoke weed, but I don't smoke cigarettes. But I noticed that a lot of calls that you get after that call, you gonna be fiending for a blunt, but you can't smoke a blunt. You at work, so the next best thing is a cigarette. So, like, I never forget one day, like, we had some traumatizing shit with some kid. And I was like, yo, I need to smoke, man. After the shit I just seen, I need to smoke. And bro was like, yeah, man, smoke this instead. Gave me a cigarette. I've been smoking cigarettes. But anyway, so we go outside. So now me, Angel, and there's two cops, and we smoking and we talking, like, yeah, we talking shit. Yeah, like, oh, you seen that shit? Yo, that shit was crazy, right? We talking shit. Here come another cop now. You could tell, like, you could tell he been on the job for a long time. He was older. His equipment looked mad dirty. He had more stripes. You could tell he was one of them, like a veteran. So he was like, yo, whose call was this, yo? I was like, yo, it's mine, yo. He pulled me to the side. He said, let me ask you a question, yo. He said, how old are you? I think I was 23. He said, how old are you? I'll never forget this conversation. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 23. He said, you want to live to see 24? I said, yeah. He said, let me tell you something. What you did, don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. And he said the magic words. He said, sometimes you just got to let shit happen. He said, don't ever do that again. Go running up in some building without no police backup and all that. He said, you got a gun on you? I was like, no. He said, what if they had a gun up there? You know, what if somebody in the building had a gun? What you would have did? I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm a tough guy. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll just talk my way out of it. He's like, yeah, nah. Let me tell you something, young. He was like, let me tell you something, young man. Don't ever do that again. sometimes you just gotta let shit happen. I know, you wanna, your job is to help people and all that. My job is to help people, but he was like, who gonna help you? He said, you here to help, but who gonna help you when you need help? If you would have went up in there, you need help. Who you think was gonna help you? And that shit's like, the shit was like all crashing down in my mind at that same time. I'm like, damn, that is, I really did. That was a stupid move, like running up in there, because, you know what I'm saying? I could have got iced out up in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And to that day, from that day, every time something happened, it was like some drama or some shit. Me and Angel, we would always be like, yo, like, we'd be like, yo, I'll be like, yo, son, sometimes you just gotta let shit happen, yo. Even if like off work, anytime something happened, that became our little inside joke, like, yo, bro, sometimes we gotta let shit happen, yo. Fuck that, yo. Like, nah, man, let it happen, yo, bro. Just let it happen. And then we laughed about it later because we like, damn, man. And then Angel, to this day, if I call Angel right now, he gonna be like, nah. He gonna be like, that's your fault because you were trying to bag. You trying to bag that project, bitch. Like you fucking with these project hood rats. Or you worried about the bitch. He's like, yo, we should have just called the cops. Like, we still laugh about it to this day. But you know what's funny? That's the end of the story. But you know what's funny? I want to say about 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, we always hang out at the same spot by the projects. So 3 weeks later, we still back hanging out at the projects. You know what I'm saying? Because we cool. Like a lot of people, like, a lot of people from the projects, they respected us because we used to bring the truck right there and chill by the project. So, your grandmother in there fell down, bad people running, but my grandmother just cut herself. Y'all got a Band-Aid, y'all got this. Yeah, no doubt. We run up and give, you get to see your grandmother, give them a Band-Aid. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, people come on the truck. Yo, bro. Does it look weird? I got this scratch on my arm. Does it look infected to you? Like, people just come and ask us questions. You know what I'm saying? So we was like the cool dudes that chill by the projects. So we chilling there. A couple of weeks later, I seen the dude that I hit with the Spartan kick, yeah. I seen the dude now. It's him and some chick, and they walking down the block, and it's me and Angel in the truck. I said, oh, that's the dude right there, yeah. I said, oh, that's the dude right there. Now, meanwhile, I'm so fucking young and dumb. I jump out the truck like, yo, bro. I'm like, yo, what's up, nigga? He like, yo, what up? I'm like, yo, you don't remember, like, yo, a couple of weeks ago, like, I'm like, yo, that shit was crazy, yo. Like, yo, what's up with that shit, yeah? Like, I didn't jump out on some shit like, yo, what's up, nigga? What's wrong with you? I jumped out like, yo, what's up? Like, I jumped out like, really want to talk to this nigga. I'm like, yo, what's up, yeah? And shout out to that dude because he was a real dude. He was like, look, man. He was like, yo, that's my man's daughter. He come to find out that's, him and the husband was friends. He's like, that's my man's daughter, yo. You know what I'm saying? We was gonna stretch that nigga out. Y'all niggas was in the way, but he was like, you know what? He was like, my bad. Like, he was like, yo, I shouldn't have put y'all in that situation like that because I know y'all out here just trying to work. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have put y'all in that situation. And I'm like, yo, my bad. I'm like, yo, when I kicked you like that, I'm like, yo, what you would have did? I'm thinking you going to get a gun. And he's like, yeah, no doubt. He was like, yo, I was talking about my man about that. He was like, yo, I know it probably looked like that, but he was like, nah, he was going to get the bag and just leave. Like, what he said, I was going to pick up my bag and dip. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, all right, because he knew the cops was going to come anyway. He was like, yo, we going to just dip and catch the nigga later. He really was just going to leave. Like, it's over. Like, he didn't want, like, he wasn't going to progress it. But I'm like, yo, what would you do? I'm like, yo, what would you do if you was me and I turn my back and I go to get a bag? I'm like, yo, you gonna attack, right? And we laughing about it. He like, yo, no doubt. I'm like, yo, we shook hands. I said, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even that shit. I'm like, yo, I hope y'all get this nigga later and all that, and he gonna get what he get in jail. But I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. Like, we talked about it. And he's like, yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. We kind of squashed it right there. Come to find out the dude sell weed. I found out later. And we ended up starting buying weed from this nigga. Said later on. But anyway, I know this video kind of long, but that's the origin story, and that's the sometimes you gotta let shit happen story. Now I got a plethora of ambulance stories. If y'all want to hear some gruesome shit, if y'all want to hear some funny shit, if y'all want to hear some shit where dudes attacked us, and like, if y'all want to hear some more ambulance stories, let me know. Or if y'all want to just, let me know what kind of stories y'all want to know. Like, I got a bunch of stuff. Y'all want to hear club stories, party stories, travel, vacation stories. I got a few stories. Anyway, let me have one more sip and let me wrap this up. Anyway, Good luck to everybody. If y'all still here, if y'all still here, me and you like this, yeah. All right, but if y'all still here, man, I appreciate y'all for listening to me ramble. All right, what time is it? This is 9 o'clock. I'm about to go chill. But again, I appreciate y'all for listening to the stories. I hope y'all like the stories. I hope I wasn't being too offensive with the language. I was trying to, not go too hard, and I was trying to really sip the yak slow. Good luck to everybody who enters the giveaway. I hope all of y'all win. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about these kind of stories. And this week, y'all know we go on Galaxy S26. I got a few more case videos. We got the Xiaomi phones. We got the Vivo phones. Okay, we got the Sony headphones. All right, so this week, I'm trying to keep the trend of, because I'm going on vacation in about maybe 12 days. So I'm trying to shoot a video every day so I give y'all some content before I go. Anyway, it's your boy Floss. I'll catch up on the next trip. No outro because all of my outros I do live. And when I start drinking a yak, it's hard for me to recite the outro. So I'll see y'all on the next story.
Hey guys, Jerry Springer here. Subscribe to Flossy Carter for the real reviews. He has a tech channel on YouTube, and he already has over 2 million subscribers, so give him a look. You may like it, and it could be very useful. Take care of yourself and each other.